That's it.
Not lost
so
yet.
it's recording now. So today,
Right, fire away.
Today we have Jones with us. Jones does a lot of videos on the plane hoax. He does other stuff as well. So far is Patricia and Lev and Jones. So hello everybody and Jones. Which bit do you want to talk about first then? Lev, hi Lev. Which bit do you want to talk about first?
Sorry, you're talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Oh, sorry. Right. Yeah. Whatever you like. Sorry, you can talk about whatever you like. You know, yeah. Fire away. Fire questions. Whatever.
Go on then. You wanted to talk about the moon.
What the moon, and what it actually is, and what I think it is anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on then.
Well, it depends whether, because I don't actually know whether half of my videos have gone up live onto YouTube or not. So I don't actually know what people have been able to watch. I know most of my my jet engine obviously run on air, and what air is and stuff seems to be up for debate at the moment. But yeah, my moon map, which I found, I think it was last July, I think, something like that, and I put up it was a crude drawing over a photograph that I'd laminated. And the reason that I actually found it was because I'd laminated it and I was looking at it upside down, was where we are. And then I realized that, yeah, this makes total sense. That it's actually a black light reflection from underneath the dark side of the moon being the Earth, into the firmament. And when I say firmament, I mean there's an ecliptical, we say it's an ecliptical arch only because of the way we perceive it. But realistically, it's a convergence point of energy in the sky. And that's what it's reflecting off. I know it's quite a lot in that, I suppose, but yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I came across I can't remember his name. I'm sorry, it was a long time ago, but he did where no matter where he went on the moon, he could find it on Earth, the same things, the same, yeah, the same everything. He could match it all up to Earth. So that's what you're talking about. There's Astral. Hi, Astral.
Hello. But basically, what you're getting at is you need to, I suppose.
Hang on, you've got a bit of an echo.
Yeah, I hear that. Has it gone?
It's all right. He's muted now.
I think the hardest bit of, and it took me a while to grasp the fact there is no oil, there is no gas, there is no volcanoes. Aaron Dover does some fantastic work. It blew my mind when I watched his first video on the volcano hoax. And basically, they've hidden, well, religion is just about hiding God's energy. And that's basically what it is. Put it in its simplest form. And yeah, it's right there when you walk through the church door, at the two doors either side. And yeah, the moon's in all the religious texts, all the books. So it's and every religion on earth worships the Venus star and the cycles of Venus. And clearly it was worshipping, well, we still are worshipping where we live. And there is only this place, there is nowhere else. And that's the hardest thing for people to grasp. Everyone wants to live in a fantasy world. And that's what the NASA has jumped on. As soon as they invented the jet engine and realized they could burn God's energy, which is the air, and water, which is just a compressed version of it. Happy days. Let's make up fantasy. Let's get Walt Disney involved, and away they went. And that's it, really, in a nutshell. Obviously, it's a lot more complicated than that.
You think it's started with Hollywood, so it didn't start that long ago?
It goes right back to the mystery schools. The Pythagoras. I mean, as far I've spent hundreds of pounds on books. If you really, really want to understand where you are and what's going on, you're going to have to do the research and put the legwork in, and that's what I started doing. It was a struggle. I'm mildly dyslexic, so sometimes I have to read something and read it a couple of times before it goes in. I've got books. I'm going back to books. Every day I'm going back to a different book. But But yeah, what you start to realize is a common theme going for all of these books, and it's Pythagoras, the Pythagorean mystery schools, and the fact that once you start to see the pi symbols, which are very prevalent over here where I live, and I've done the video on the. Did you watch the one on my Flat Earth Moon book, where I was showing the pi symbol right opposite one of the churches? And they're all over the place. They're all over every single city in the world. I follow a guy, SGD, Sacred Geometry's got a great channel, and he will explain that every single city in the world is laid out with a, well, it's not just, Scott Onset's done a whole, oh, we've got feedback again there.
Sorry, it's me. I was just going to say, I like that guy as well. He's got some good stuff, man.
It's brilliant, absolutely fantastic. But it's basically all, from what I can gather, all of the books, I'm not just talking about the Bible, all of the sacred books were written with this, call it God's code, call it what you like, but it's Fibonacci, it's pi, the transcendental numbers are written into these books, very, very cleverly written into them, to the point where we are, not privy to know this, but all I can say is I've researched the Masons and I've researched them and I'll keep researching them, and I see the pentagram above the door for all of the lodges. I've been reading their forums, I go on their websites. They're not Satanists. I'll just put that on record for everybody out there. Yeah, Lucifer is the morning star, is the Earth. It's Earth's reflection in the sky or the firmament. Call it what you may. And this, I don't even know why this hasn't been spoke about before. Are you still there?
Yeah. Is this the bit? Is this the bit where you just told me that we're on a disc?
Well, it's a bit more, obviously a bit more complicated than that, but yeah, we're on a, I said the rock, I did the video on the low shoe on how the rock formation, I think I said it was diamagnetic. There's a guy, Ken Wheeler's done a fantastic free book if people want to give him a look. He's a lovely fella, and he has some great stuff in there about how basically the rock and everything we're on, we're floating, we're suspended, and this is the bit as above, so below. What's going on up there is going on below. That's how come you can get a reflection of the Earth up into the firmament, which is the moon. And that's why those craters are from a hexagram in shape, which goes down towards the crystals. And I did do the video there showing the, showing it. I don't that one either. But it really is that simple, to be honest. Once you get through it all, I watched the moon. I've been photographed. It's the actual structure of the Earth underneath. That's why you've got the dark side of the moon, because it's the underneath of the firmament. The firm is the firm ground we live on. And you only need to follow the moon and follow it for over a year or so. And I've been photographing it and watching it now for a good couple of years, and it goes up and down. I did the video, and that's what the dragons are. That's why the dragons are all over London. The dragon, the serpent, the sine wave, it's exactly what the moon is. It's showing you in the sky as it goes up and down every month. The moon does an anal lemma, just like the sun does one over a year, the moon does one over a month. And that dispels all the myths about the serpent worshippers and everything else. They kicked the serpent worshippers out of Ireland. They were just the moon worshippers. That's what the Druids are. That's what they worship. That's what Stonehenge is about. It's about the moon, which is the Earth. Of course it is.
So when did you come to this bit? Because obviously we were talking a little bit about this before we actually started this hangout. You reckon that the moon is a map of the Earth, basically?
It's the Earth. So what you're seeing is there is no true maps of the Earth. They all represent some statistic. And when you're actually looking at the moon, it's a convergence point of two energies meeting in the sky. And it's distorted, it's upside down, it's slightly convex. It's not giving you a true image, but you can make out the map of the world, which is what I found eventually, having photographed it. And as I say, I used to photograph them, laminate them before I bought my MacBook. And then I got a bit cleverer there, and I could start messing about with the pictures and actually changing the settings so I could make it even clearer. And and then I looked at it and went, wow, it's massive. The Earth is massive, and we've been kept on this tiny part of it. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because the rest of the Earth isn't inhabitable. I don't know. I actually don't. I can't tell you. I can only tell you what I know and what I can see. And any of this is provable, and you can do it yourself. I've only got a 60 times zoom Lumex camera I got for me 40th birthday. I think there's a couple of £100 now you can buy it for. Does a great job. But I just, you know, it literally is that simple. Every religion around the world has the, I did the one, what was it, 117 scale dragon, the 24 repeat pattern in the Fibonacci, the 108, the 1080, the, what you got there, radius of the moon, 2160. There's your diameter of the moon. It all relates to the moon, which relates to Earth. That's why every religion on Earth worships where they live. Makes sense. And that brings into question that there is a creator, and we are built perfectly. And they've lied about that as well. They've made us feel insignificant, and that there is no creators or creator. And again,
I wasn't sure whether religion's been made to control us. You know, it's just a form of control.
They only have the sacred knowledge, the light, this knowledge, gnosis, or whatever you want to call it, and they've kept it from us. And they've you know, come up with NASA, come up with anything to tell us that we're not special and this place wasn't built. It's as simple as that. Because then they can hide how they make these jet engines work with the God particle. I mean, they did a mockery in the film with I forget the name of it now. One of my favorite actors was in it, Tom Hanks. He did the Da Vinci Code, the second one, and they go on about the Hadron Collider thing or whatever it is. But basically, when you boil it down, which is what I've been doing lately, is water, and I've said petrol and diesel and everything that is made from water. Clearly, yeah, they've got these floating boat oil rigs which you can see coming in for services, which are a joke. The volume that they need to get to put in everybody's cars and this fake aeroplane, it's just impossible. It's absolutely impossible. But someone was saying even the army, you can get a little sachet to put in a water, and then you'll get you out of trouble. You can fill the old Jeep up with it, yeah. But what we can't see is what they.
As we've got now to planes, they do put fuel in them, don't they? They're just not putting what they say, and they're not telling us how the compressed air works with this all, and the fact that they're not telling us.
No, I've been reading. I was reading. I'm going to have to reread it, so I don't really want to be quoted. But there's a fascinating fella called Dan Winter that's done
vertical takeoffs.
Sorry.
The new planes, the A300s or whatever they are, they do vertical takeoffs.
Yeah, no, I mean they've obviously they had it. I don't know. What was it? 72 years ago, I was talking about the Spitfire and the ginormous size of the piston engines inside that, and how they clearly need a bit of, back then they need a bit of petrol or whatever you want to call it, just to get the spark, just to get the initial, get it going, yeah. But after that, it's just air. And one of the byproducts of burning and compressing the air is the clag, which is the black smoke you see on the Concorde in the earlier videos until they perfected it, yeah. And see black smoke, and I'm like, yeah, that's what happens when you burn the air. You can get it on the modern turbo diesels when they've been chipped and stuff. If you ever follow one, you'll know it's been chipped or whatever, because there'll be black smoke puffing out the back when it puts its foot down. And that's just because.
Can I ask you something?
You can, yeah.
I mean, I haven't done videos like you. I've only done a few, but it just got my goat as well. Just when you realise, looking at a wing, that a lot of it's flaps. But I've had quite a lot of stick, and I've had people tell me that I'm stupid and an idiot because there are tanks there and they've got bafflers in them. And how do I've worked there. I know people, even a few friends of ours, they've been there. They say that these things have tanks, they have petrol in them. I'm not talking the old planes, the new planes, really.
I know which ones you mean. Yeah. I actually know. I know somebody that worked. I know someone that worked for one of the airlines, and they have to pay for their fuel in advance, and they are as clueless as everybody else. So people saying, "Oh, I know all this and that," that people just like to tell you that they know stuff. It's I live with people that tell me I'm constantly,
You know what though? If I'd seen the 747s doing something like those new planes, I would like think, okay, it's there, and it would just take me on another trail. But 747s, yeah, they did fly low at air shows, but they never did anything. They just flew past low. But these Airbuses, they look like someone's got a remote control below, and they're going neat, 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 neat. It's like it's a toy. Like,
do you know? There's a guy I remember now. A guy in Australia. He's got a bit of a Rowley Birkin nose. I forget the name of the fella. He's into his conspiracies and bits and bobs. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just getting little beeps in my ears. All right. So anyway, and basically, this was in my first channel when I was saying the aircraft industry has to know the world is flat because they fly above a flat plane. You can see the trails. People have been calling them chemtrails, and I've just corrected them and told them it's condensation, like a modern condensing boiler, plumage, in the sky. Yeah, and they are in straight lines because they're above a straight flat plane below us. Yeah, so the whole equally, you've got the Crowley Crow 777. Alistair Crowley wrote a book 777. I've been covering this, the actual relevance of the number 7, the 7 Ra's of the rainbow and the energy, and basically, my opinion is Mr. Crow 777 is a liar. That's just my opinion. I'm entitled to it. But I've never seen a wave go across any of the moon footage, and I've been filming it for a long, long time. But that's by and by. But the 777 business, it all goes down to the Bible and these sacred organizations that keep it to themselves. Of course, you're going to have an absolute army of people on YouTube defending them. I mean, when I say an army, I'm talking every other channel is dripping in this knowledge, and they're going to protect it to the hilt because it does. These jet engines run on God's energy. And it goes down to what you can't see at a microscopic, beyond microscopic level. It's what the air actually is, yeah?
Can I say something?
Sorry, I missed that.
Two things. I just wanted to very quickly just say the 747 went through, like, these other planes, they are quite amazing. They're not telling us the truth. They've put, like, military technology in, if you know what I mean. I've seen big military.
Did you see the latest film by what's his name? He's done Pan's Labyrinth. Is it Pan's Labyrinth? The one about the water and the woman that falls in love with the water creature. I watched it recently. I forget Cody. What was it called? But anyway, basically at the beginning of that film, they have a jet engine hanging up, and she's in the shower. She's in the bath doing something I won't mention. She later falls in love with this water creature that was actually hailed as a god in the film, but they're breaking it to us gently. Hollywood are breaking it to us gently. My videos have only gone live and are being seen by people because they are letting it. Yeah, it's as simple.
Can I just say something else then? Mm-hmm. Astral has worked at an Astral there. He's worked at an airport, and he says there are tanks under the ground with fuel in them. And that he's seen planes get fueled.
Yeah. What's he saying?
I mean, as much as I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm just saying that Astral.
You don't actually see it. You don't actually see any fuel going into it. It's a bit like when you fill your car up. You can. I did a video of it. You can pull it back and squirt the petrol, or the diesel or whatever. But when they fill up the big planes we're talking about, you don't see nothing. I call them air hoses. I don't even know what they're doing with these things, but they're all sealed and they're supposed to have all this thousands of PSI going into a sealed wing. Well, where on earth does all the air go? And if you have a pressure or an auto air valve on it, it would whistle like a steam train with the amount of pressure and volume of liquid going into the wings. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The wing doesn't even droop after they've put all this tonnage of fuel into the wing. I've done video after video on this stuff, and it's just. I did engineering design when I left school, and I did an exchange with the BMW factory in Bavaria, and the stuff that's going on. You've got children out in primary school level stripping down cars. Yeah, this is Germany. This was 20 odd years ago. The stuff. I just think our country. I don't know what goes on, to be honest with you, but the lies just go at every level, absolutely every level. And best thing I'm going to teach my children, well, I don't want to teach them, but you're best off just being the best liar you can be. You'll go far in the world, you know. That's if you want to do well, just lie and be good at lying. So
I do understand this bit about like people have really had a go at me about the fuel thing, but they don't, as much as they're sticking up for fuel, they have to realize that the plane ain't going to go anywhere without the compressed air. And in fact, they won't take off until the cabin's compressed. So it's all working, all going before they even take off, right? So you need all that just as much as, okay, you need the fuel. But people are quite like rude to. I would like to know, like, with
the people are rude. People are rude on every level. I mean, you've experienced it, the way you were treated. I mean, I saw the Daily Mail article, and the flat Earth is a completely controlled movement by the people that know it's flat, and obviously direct you to the likes of Eric Dubay. And don't get me wrong, I will slag Eric Dubay off, but I am grateful for his proofs of the Earth is flat. I am actually very thankful to Truth IC3. I don't know if you ever caught his channel, where he will attack the flat earthers, and it was proving the Earth. It's trying to prove them wrong that gets you into flat Earth and then you obviously make the connections. But it's just that if you want to control free energy, you are going to make sure you control free energy, and it's not going to be hard to employ people on YouTube, is it? It really isn't hard, you know. I mean,
ground. There's a building in Newbury where I work for someone, and they're tapping into the ground. They're off the grid in this sort of semi-old people's place. You know, they buy their own flats, and there's a warden there, and they play cards, and you know, but they're independent in their flats. But there, they've dug into the ground for the Aleki. So why couldn't we have done that? That would have been so much more eco.
No, I mean, now you're getting.
So you see, you find these things out, and I only knew because I actually met the person who was living in a flat with that kind of thing going on.
Well, like, what baffles me, what actually blew my mind, was when I looked into Frank Chester and his Chesterhedron, and you start to watch his videos and realize the human heart itself, electricity, the same energy that's all around you, is powering the human body, and we're electrical beings. There's a guy as well. I mean, he's absolutely nuts, but I do like him. Mr. Tackpans. I've followed him for a while as well. But he came up with the greatest expression I've ever heard, that we are fleshy robotics, and they've just hidden it. And it's when you realise that we're fleshy robots. And that film I, Robot, number 9, the iPhone, number 9, this 369, the Rodin coil, Rodin mathematics, and it's real. It's absolutely real. And that's why inside of the Masonic lodges you have everybody called VW, Worshipful Master. It's not, you know, this is nothing that's you can't find out, you know. But it just blows my mind that no one's talking about it, you know.
People talk about it, but I mean, where did you go? I mean, we had James on last night talking about if everybody woke up to the consciousness and what it really meant, and that this needs to be taken to the education. But again, it's a long process, I think, as much as I agree with a lot of what he says. How do you implement this when they're never going to let up on flat Earth, are they, without a great big fight, because they'd have to tell the truth about not going to space. It just goes on and on. The list would be endless.
I mean,
why do you think airplanes put in there then? Why do you think they've lied about the fuel so they can pretend
they have to lie about, because it destroys 9/11. It just literally will. That I mean, we know that. And Fred, I've said it before. If Fred Didner was alive, he would have just laughed at it all. He would have said that's impossible. Anybody that knows anything about construction, I mean, I'll go into the recent one with that flat and burning of foam, and how the news was showing you foam. And I went into my shed and got a bit of foam with my blowtorch and burnt it within a cinder. It doesn't set fire. That's like saying every house that's ever been built is flammable. It's just a joke. The media just mocks and laughs us every day. But yeah, the biggest one of all is they've been using free energy with the jet engines, and it literally it'll blow it all apart. And I don't know if anyone's watched my video about Superman and the connection with the the latest one. I forget this Steve. Is it Steve? I forget his name, but how he represents all of the Marvel characters. I don't want to destroy it for everybody because the comics and the films are fantastic, but every single Marvel character represents God's energy, a particle of energy. It's as simple as that. It literally is that simple, you know. But no one's going to believe me, are they?
So you think the fuel thing is the big, like, break that and then flat Earth's there?
Well, it's how the people can't grasp or get their head around. What are you trying to tell me, that there's some sort of electrical energy pulsating backwards and forwards, you know, across a flotating Earth? What is, are you crazy? Are you mad? And then this floating thing, its angle of tilt changes, and that's why we get different star constellations coming into view at different times of year. People can't grasp the simplest of things, you know. It's taken me a long while to work it all out, but I'll just tell people, because if I don't start telling people, we're never going to move forward, are we? You know what I mean? And I know I'm up against a lot of people that will not let me say what I want to say. And the moon being Earth's blacklit under, you know, reflection into that energy field in the sky, it's that's, you just look at it. It's a clock piece. It's a timepiece right there. And I don't go into the numbers. I don't go into the detail because people haven't time, and they're just trying to get their head around the flat Earth. I think is a big one, and I pat anybody on the back if they've made it that far. To be honest with you, because the amount of liars out there and deceivers is unbelievable. And then you get into the flat Earth, and there's even more of them.
I agree with you on that one.
But yeah, the jet engine, it literally, once you take that thing and rip it apart, as in we'll study it and understand it, and you're trying to tell me via some sort of harmonics it changes the structure of the air particle and splits the, you know, water, H2O, and that's the certain angles, 108 degrees, 36 degrees, and it creates, and then you can burn it. Oh wow, that's amazing. Yeah, they've been doing it for years.
Can you explain a bit more about that then? Can you explain a bit more about that then?
Well, you can look at Agent JZ. I mean, I will still direct you to his channel. Obviously he was another one that gave me a copyright strike, but he still has some of the best views of stripped down jet engines on YouTube, bar none. You know, unless anyone else can comment and say any other ones. But it's this spiral, this Fibonacci spiral. That even the blades, the Nike logo is a Fibonacci spiral. And if you slice one of these blades, it's all creating a harmonic. And to me, it's this dodecahedron, which is your pentagram, which is above the Masonic Lodge. And I see it when you walk through a church door. You've got the O and the two hydrogen atoms either side of it. That's what I'm seeing. You know, I don't know if I'm right. It's just what I see. And it's, to me, it's water. You get baptized. They put water on your head, don't they? It just seems to be there, and it's always in the films. The water connection. You see, even at the beginning of iRobot, he's in the shower wetting his head. You know, you'll start to see it, and it's right there. They will argue eventually when it all comes out. Well, we've been showing you. Well, didn't you know? That's just how I see things. You know, I could be wrong, could be completely wrong. But this Diana and the two lions, as many of these triplicate gods, and you also the twins, because there's one hidden and two either side, positive, negative. Again, I don't know if I'm right. It's just what I see. And I've been, as I say, I've been looking into every religion on earth. And then I started going, well, this don't make any sense. So I started looking at it from a mathematical point of view, then looked at the geometry, then got myself out there looking at the stars, the full quadrivium. And then eventually you come to a conclusion, this world's built, my hand's built, look at it. And Marty Leeds has done some great videos on showing you the segments of the 14 phalanges and the 27 bones. That's why you have the red hand of Ulster. And I've done videos on that. And then you only need to start photographing the sun and see the Star of David, which is right up in the sky. It's just, if you photograph it a few times and it's right there. Lucien Kahn's done some fabulous the books on it. Well, videos and stuff on his channel. It's it's there. There's plenty of people will show you this stuff, but nobody seems to want it. Everybody wants to have no responsibility and live for today and sod tomorrow. And I don't care about anybody else. But when you try and tell them that this isn't a mistake, you means I would say immortal souls, but what is the soul? We're a beam of light. Are we trapped light energy inside these bodies? But ultimately, we'll keep coming back around until we get it right, I guess. But it's all implosive. Everything's implosion with this technology. These spirals, these dodecas going fractalize inwards. And that's what they do. They replicate a tornado. It's the same with the snail film, Turbo, the snail. It's showing you. They're showing you in the movies. And it's right there. You know, you look at a turbocharger inside a car and look at a turbo, the snail. It's the same thing. It's compression.
Just asking, explain then, like, how these plane engines are really working then.
Well, I can't give you the full answers because I'm not an aircraft engineer, but I can only see that they've got batteries, so they're using electrical energy to get them whirling up to speed, the smaller one, and then they redirect the flow of air, or they can use a start cart, which you've seen where Agent JZ will basically a mini turbo blowing air in to get these fans spinning up to speed. And when they start getting up to a certain revs per minute or whatever, and they've got the tornado created, then they can redirect some of the air because its properties change. Once you change the property of air to this, I'm presuming it's dodeca in its shape, which is your pentagram, then it's burnable. That's just how I see it,
What, they're burning air?
And well, what is air? You know, what is air ultimately? If you can press air, it's water, isn't it? It's what I've been trying to explain to people, that what you're breathing is H2O. And why would they not lie about the air? They've lied about everything else, haven't they? You get a bottle, suck the air out of it, it crushes. You get a tanker, suck the air out of it, it crushes. It's very powerful stuff, isn't it? So you're just swimming in a sea of water, but you can't see it because it's so minute. There is a technical word, but I don't like to use their words because I can't understand them. And they say the water's above, don't they?
So you don't think aeroplanes ever used fuel like they say they did?
What
about people like, we have Don, right? He's lovely. He's making his own aeroplane. He flies gyroscopters, things. He's putting petrol in. He puts the petrol in.
No, I've been in it. Was it my 21st? I went up in a microlight and smelled the petrol and whatever else, and off it went. I'm on about the commercial aircraft, and I'm on about the military grade F-16 fighter, the ones where they can fold the wings up to get them in those aircraft carriers, and the aircraft carriers are using the jet technology as well. How on earth do you think we get something made in China, thousands and thousands of miles away, and then shipped all the way back here? And they go, oh, yeah, and it's cheaper than making it down the road because they don't pay for fuel. These cruises, these massive ships, the ships that go to Stranraer to Belfast constantly go backwards and forwards. They never fill up with fuel.
Which ones are you talking about, in the sea or in the air? What are you talking about, ships in the water, or you mean aeroplanes?
Both. The jet engine, the gas turbine engine is in your submarine, it's in your big ships, it's in your big aircraft. Of course, they have smaller aircraft that will burn fuel in the sense of, but what is the fuel? The fuel is just water-based. So it's still just burning air, but a compressed version. All of the refineries are right next to the sea. And they'll tell you, oh, it's for cooling purposes, that. You're like, no, it's just you're using the seawater, aren't you? I was a gas engineer for many years. I didn't know where the gas came from. But when I chatted to a guy the other day and he's saying, the main gas turn-off stopcock is right opposite the sewage works. And when you smell, you get a call. I used to get call out for a smell of gas, and you get there and you lift a floorboard or whatever else, and there was a dead rat under the floor. You put two and two together, can't you? And they'll say these digesters and these bits and bobs in the third world. Oh yes, I'd put a video up about what was it, on one of the BBC Two comedies where they were mocking, saying in London there was an explosion where one of the sewage gas vent pipes had blown a building apart because somebody had set fire to it by mistake or whatever. They've just been using our poo, literally, I'm trying to be polite here, but our poo, and selling it as back and laughing at us again. You'll see those giant towers they used to have in the city centres fill up through the summer, and then they're selling your gas back to you through the winter. It's genius. I mean, it is genius, and it's, you know, how they've done it. And then we've gone away from the old crappy boilers now to these force-fed condensing boilers, which I'm actually looking at them now thinking probably use the same idea that the jet engines are using, force-fed pressurized burners. And all of the gas supplies over here are high pressure. It's no low pressure gas anymore. It's all going over to high pressure. And what's that? Just compressed air with a bit of smelly poo in it, just to get the spark, you know, just to get the ignition going. But once you realise that there's no oil, it's all man-made, and that's where I'm convinced farmers must know this. I mean, they aren't half looked after by the EU, aren't they? I've never met a poor farmer, you know. But it literally is that simple. I think it's very hard for people to get their head around that they've been lied to. I've seen a volcano on TV. Everyone just sees something on TV and believes it, don't they? Are you there?
Yeah, just muting myself because you were talking.
Oh, that's all right. It's all right. Yeah, but what else can you say? I'd love some chemists to come on and just analyze some petrol and some diesel and just say, that's just that.
Well, you think it's human poo?
The gas, it's the methane gas. They use these digesters, yeah. When they can't, over here, there was a big scandal about pellet boilers and stuff, yeah. They were giving so many £1 million back to people if they bought these boilers. But the pellets, as far as I'm concerned, were just it's of the poo that they have to collect and dry out and sell it back. And the gas that's produced is tons of it, absolutely tons of it. You can buy a little gas bottle for when you're soldering pipes. They last for weeks. That's only a small little bottle. There's no gas. They tell you there's a gas main from Scotland under the water to Northern Ireland, and they'll show you where it comes in. Yeah, you go and try and find where it comes in. It's the rockiest part of Northern Ireland. They haven't dug it in the ground. There is none. There are none. But see, to people to grasp my model, they have to grasp they've been lied to about everything, and people aren't prepared. They're not. Yeah, you've said they're not ready. They're not prepared for it. So I could say what I like.
Getting gas from under the sea is rubbish as well.
Yeah, 100%. There's an estate been built out towards, I think, is it Bangor way? Brand new estate, and right next to it they've put a new sewage works in, and that was the first estate in that part to go onto gas, right next to the sewage treatment works. It's a new thing over here, but it's obviously it's all going underground and being hidden, so you can't see these giant storage containers and stuff. They're not stupid. The people that control us are very, very smart, you know, and they've got you at every corner. Natural gas, there's the clue in the title, isn't it?
Can I say something? Can you hear me?
You're very faint there, buddy. I can...
Oh, something wrong with this fucking shit, man. It's all the time, honestly. 1 second.
Yeah, Astral's the person who's worked at an airport.
I'll tell you now.
I only see it like you know, when people look at those wings. Okay, maybe the bigger planes at the beginning bit, maybe you could actually step into that bit somehow. But like, there's so many flaps, retractable flaps. Just like, well, where's all the fuel supposed to go? And they're not very thick. And then when a wing's damaged, you can almost see the bottom of the wing. What
happened in the war when they shot all the wings? Yeah. What happened to all the aircraft that when they shot all the wings up and they still flew home? Alvington Airfield, those massive bombers flew all the way to Germany, allegedly dropped these massive ton bombs, and then flew all the way back with tons and tons of fuel on board and tons of bombs. You look at what happened with the world wars and how they had all the factories ready to go, all of them with all of the machinery, not just not the actually building of the aircraft and building of the bombs and stuff. The actual tooling itself was there ready. Who built the tooling? Who built the machines that was going to build everything else? It was just, we've been played like fools by whoever these people are, and they just are still doing it now, and they're quite happy for. I can come on channels like yours and I could go and chat to the world, and most people will think this guy's insane, because that's the way they've constructed the educational system. You come out of the educational system not knowing anything about anything and wander into the world going, what's all this about? You don't understand how the monetary system works. You don't know anything, literally don't know nothing. And then they'll, it's just, well, you know the rest. You guys are well ahead of the rest. So, you know.
Can I just say something?
Yeah. Astral, you got to sort your
yeah, it's a bit.
You can't hear.
How am I now?
Just fire away and I'll see if I can hear you. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm living in Denmark, and I've noticed that, well, last year, actually, I was working on a big chicken biogas, it's called an anleg, you know, and they have, like, I don't know how many domes there are, but these big...
A biodigester.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, what they're doing is they're taking grass clippings and letting them rot together with chicken shit, right? And they're making biogas. I mean, it stinks, but they've got these... They're making gas out of grass and chicken shit, man. I mean, yeah, you know that they can do that, don't you?
Yeah, no, I actually, yeah, perfect, yeah.
Well, I talked to the boss and I said, I asked him, like, is it beneficial? Can you get? Is it efficient? Oh yeah, in no time, it's paid for itself. I mean, it's shit, isn't it?
Basically,
like,
yeah, no, it is as simple as that, yeah.
The guy, right? I mean, this
microphone out because it's really hard to hear you.
No, well, I got the gist of it, that in Denmark and the chicken poo and whatever. But yeah, the pig farms, the slurry, they'll come in to the big recycling places here where, you know, if you have a spillage, they have the big machines that go and suck them up. They go to the farms and suck up all the cow poo, and they dump it into the same place the human excrement goes, yeah? It's the same place.
Do they?
And then they sell it back. They'll just sell it back as gas. And the more people that are populating the planet, the more food we eat, the more poo's produced by the animals, the more poo we produce, and the more gas they produce. So it's self-sustaining. So it's a perfect system, isn't it? You can't put any excrement into the sea. It was, I don't know, was it 15, 20 years ago? Some law was passed. This is simple stuff as far as I'm concerned. But it seems to blow people's minds. They can't even grasp this. You know, it's like, I don't know. I'm trying to tell people that the moon's the Earth's reflection in the sky. I mean, that's just, it's like, what? You know what I mean?
Can I just check my microphone? Is it working now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, loud and clear.
All right, sweet. I don't know what's flipping wrong with this. It's just very dodgy every now and again. Sorry, you carry on now, dude. Sorry, no. I've not even said hello. I'm Astral, by the way. What's your name?
Just call me Jones, buddy. It's easier, yeah. All right, I can't even pronounce the other part of it, but yeah, but basically, yeah. I mean, what more do you want me to say? You know, I could say it till I'm blue in the face, but I don't understand why every religion in the world worships the earth. It doesn't matter where you're from. You're obviously going to worship where you live. We all live on the same place. So it stands to reason that the moon's in all of the sacred texts for a damn good reason. So is Lucifer, the morning star, which is Venus, Earth's reflection in the sky. And I don't think people are grasping, when I studied Jupiter, which is the other second brightest luminary, or I call them convergence points of the hypercube, yeah? You see the four corners of well, I call them the four corners, but the four moons, as they're referenced, and they change every night because obviously the hypercube's in constant motion. That's why as well the inner part of the hypercube is the part we're seeing up in the sky, is why the moon is sometimes bigger and sometimes larger, because it's constant motion. It's moving backwards and forwards. You can just Google hypercube GIF if you want to understand what I mean by that. And it's even spoke about by some of the astronomers. I forget the name of the guy. Carl Sagan, is it? I think he did a little talk on it. You know, they will argue, and they're going to. You can go to Almar Observatory. I did a video on that, and they've got a giant hypercube in the grounds. Which, you know, there's clues everywhere if you're prepared to look for them. I suppose most people don't want to bother, do they? Anyone there?
Yeah. I think when you watch a video, you go, "Oh yeah, I understand, flat Earth," and then you go here, you think, "Oh, now I've got another set of questions." You go there, oh, then that branches out into more, and this whole flat Earth thing, this realm we live in, it covers everything now. It covers every lie.
Basically,
it's everything.
100%.
Because everything's a lie.
I want to know
the.
I was just about to say, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, the Taurus hole, that's why Batman fell down the well, incidentally, and that's why he has the projector of the bat into the sky, because he's trying to give you a hint there, and he's trying to hint in all of the films, the guy. But yeah, they've lied about everything, and the biggest one that really gets my goat is how special everybody is, and how when they say that God is omnipresent and whatever they say, it's because he's a particle of energy that's creating everything. Yeah, like a whole field called it the Matrix. Mar being the moon,
You just
the
said
earth.
that we were basically robots. So what's that
Fleshy
about? Then?
robotics is an expression that that guy. Yeah, I agree. You know, the essence of who you are isn't necessarily the body, is it? It's a vessel that carries you around, and when they call it the soul, or your life force is done with it, it just discards it and gets another one. And they're hinting at it in a lot of the new films that are coming out lately. I mean, this is beyond most people's comprehension. To they want just to it to end. I think because it's such a crap business at the moment. Most people just, oh, when I'm dead, I'm dead. Oh, that's good. Yeah, good. I can't wait for that, because the world isn't great, is it? You know, looking around. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's lots of good stuff going on. You never hear about it, but YouTube's obsessed with all the satanic and all the nonsense rubbish that I've watched. I compared it to that guy in the Shawshank wading through the shit pipe. That's going through YouTube, basically. That's what it is. Until you find the truth, and then the truth it just resonates, and you'll never go back once you get it. Yeah, you'll just be like, bang, I got it now, boom, and I'll just come out with it. I'm not. I want to save people the aggro. I don't. It's not great going down that pipe. You know what I mean?
I think we're many that are, sorry to interrupt. I think we're many that agree with you. You know, we feel a sort of a need to say to people, look, it ain't how you think it is. It's slightly different, very slightly different. You know,
it's amazing. The world is amazing, and when you look up at the sun and realize that's actually a convergence point of energy. It's not the sun shining its light down on you. It's the sun itself, and none of them are physical entities. It's energy, magnetism, and electricity. It took me a while to grasp that. Obviously, being a plumber and that, I can see the water when I've made a mistake. It goes everywhere. Yeah, which is why I tried to show with one of my videos, just bleeding a simple radiator. Water goes everywhere. That's why when you watch them change a jet engine, strip it out the wing and that, not a drop, they don't even prep as though they're going to spill any water or aviation fuel or anything, because there isn't. They run on air. I'm getting sidetracked again, but where was I going with that one? I do. So my mind's off. It's wandering off. I'm looking at the wall here, but yeah.
Can I just say something? Astral has worked in an airport. Astral's question this rather. Astral, there must be some questions you want to ask him. Then you have worked in an.
Oh yeah.
I'm
sorry. Right, I used to work for American Airlines, right? Don't get me wrong, I wasn't tanking planes or anything. It was something else that I was doing. You know, I was doing a lot of. It was about just before the time of 9/11 and all that lot. You know, so we were. No, it was after that. Sorry, it was there and after. It was. Yeah.
What? I mean, you're looking at 2001. I was traveling America at that point, and I flew on the American Airlines. Yeah.
Anyway, I was working in Sweden, and of course the American Airlines and the FAA say that any American carrier has to have a security procedure. So the security procedures are obviously followed, aren't they? And you've got to check every passenger and all that kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I don't need to get into all that, but I've seen at the airport, they came with tankers. They'd stand there. They were obviously, you know, checked to make sure that they were proper airport employees or tanker
Mm-hmm.
drivers. You know,
Yeah.
they should be
Yeah.
there. Show me your ID. All right, off you go. Tank your plane. And
That's
that was
it, yeah.
that. That
Mm-hmm.
was that. But the only thing that I know is that they were there for good time, man. And you can
Mm-hmm.
go to the airport and see that they're there for a good time.
I mean,
So,
I 100% agree. Everybody's doing a job, and you'll actually
yeah.
find you can look up, and they're not. It's no disrespect. I mean, I've literally cleaned toilets, I've stacked shelves, I've done every manner of jobs,
Yeah.
but to do that particular job, it doesn't require a degree, and that's no
Oh, no, I
disrespect
know.
to them doing
No,
that job. And also, I found when I did my gas training, it's procedure. I spent 6 months in a hotel up in Newcastle, being brainwashed into procedure, procedure, procedure. And until the point I'm finding that with all of these jobs, that they just follow the procedure. They don't question it. They just do the
Yeah.
job and they go home. And then when they get home, they enjoy themselves, which is what life's about. But at no point are they thinking, hang on a minute, that wing hasn't even moved. I've just put several tons of fuel in it, because they're not thinking in terms of volume, because everything that in the media, in our education, they don't want you thinking. It's as simple as that.
That's a good statement, that, actually, because in a sense, I can follow that, right? The procedure that you're saying, it's true. And I knew some of these guys that, I mean, don't get me wrong now, if any of these guys hear this, right? Sorry, but some of them weren't the smartest fucking tools in the bucket, like, if you know what I mean, or the sharpest tools in the bucket. Let's put it that way.
No, I mean, I mean,
procedure, yeah, because they do
it's the same.
and it's the same with every job. You get there in the morning, you need to do this, then you need to do that, and you sign this off. Check.
It's got. I mean, I mean, I'm in a lucky position. That's it's that. I mean, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my wife going out to work. I'm a stay-at-home dad, which is a fabulous job, and it's enabled me to. It's given me the time to do the research. But yeah, it was bad enough going back however many years. I mean, 10 years ago when I was last doing, the amount of things I had to sign, checklist, check sheet. Can you do this? Can you do that? And that was bad. I dread to think what it's like now. I hear people are saying you need to have a degree to go and work in McDonald's. It's getting that bad. But to me, a degree is a sign of somebody that's very, very smart at repeating information. It doesn't make them intelligent, it just makes them smart, in the sense of, I've got a brother that's got a photographic memory, and he got A stars, and my parents were calling to school. He was staring out the window, and they thought he was thought he was, I don't know, whatever. I don't want to say the word, but they called him, and he was bored. He'd done the questions in his head in seconds, and he was bored. And that wasn't the best. Eventually got into a decent school. He's done really well for himself. He ended up working for an airline. I can tell you now, we flew to Hong Kong. This was going back 20 years. We got to sit in, I don't know if people know this, but at the British Airways, it was a subsidiary at the time, and we sat in a lounge. It's special employees only, where you just wait for a seat on the planes. They always have spare seats. And for £80, we got to fly to Hong Kong return. Now, that was, at the time, it was a few, several £100s to fly there, but they can do it because they're not paying for fuel.
Yeah.
And if if you work in the airline industry, you're not going to break the gravy train. You get a lovely pension at the end of it. The higher up you go, the more you've got to lose in life, and they know this. And it's so, when people are going, but I've spoken to so and so, and he's telling me this, and he works for the airline. Of course, he's going to defend his pension. I spoke to my parents, who are the lucky generation that have made money on every house they've ever bought. It didn't matter. You could leave school and it could be the thickest person on earth. You'd walk into a job. You could work your way up. Those days are gone. They've just completely destroyed in immigration. And I have nothing against anybody from any part of Europe. I'll put this on record, yeah? But what I really detest is what the rich have done, bought in slave labor, and literally all the tradespeople are now fighting all the immigrants. And they're sat back laughing, going, we've got cheaper labor now.
Yeah.
And it's not the yeah, by all means.
About the cheap labor. I mean, and I'm also an immigrant here in this country, right? I'm in Denmark, you know, and England are in Denmark, but we have also people coming over from other like Eastern Bloc countries and all over the place, right? And they're working for less. The thing is this: they're not supposed to work for less. They're supposed to work and get the same wage as what I get, right? Or the same wage as other people get. The problem is, it's not the actual people that are doing the work. It's the flipping bosses. Because the bosses, they're that greedy and they're that, I don't know what the word I should use, but they're that, let's just say
I know the
they're
word
greedy.
you should use, but
They're
yeah, don't
greedy.
use it, yeah.
They greedy, and then they get these people to come from these, you know, obviously Eastern Bloc countries or whatever, you know, like Romania, and you know, I don't need to go into where they're coming from.
No, I know, I do agree, and they'll work.
And
Do you know what?
And they're doing just as good a job as what we're doing for like a third less.
Do you know how they do it? When I was at British Gas, I'm going to tell people where I worked. I'm not embarrassed about it. I worked for one of the biggest companies when it came to it, and I went around doing landlords inspections. And I used to go would be a terraced house, okay? I'd walk in and there would be 4 or 5 people sharing the front room. I'd go into the next room, it'd be the same. Go up to the other room, I'd have to check the radiators, I'd have to check all the systems. And this was 15 years ago, yeah? It just started up. And I'd look at them, the bins were overflowing at the back. You'd see the neighbours and they'd be like, this is beyond a joke. Yeah. Yet the councils let it happen. The councils turned a blind eye to it, yeah? The landlords were getting in a phenomenal amount of money, yeah?
Can I tell you one thing they've done? I mean, we all know, don't we, that the Flat Earth thing is so big and it's such a, a matrix of lies and systems and plans and stuff like that. But somebody who I followed, but he's not a flat earther, which is really annoying, but he does other work, which is Richard D. Hall.
I know him, but anyway, yeah.
What they do is subversion, which is a form of communism. And so in Russia, they took everything away. Over here now, we get slaves to debt. But, Dan, what's my point? Oh, yeah, my point is he did this scenario, right? So basically, you're on an island. There's 10 of you, and you've all got 1,000 each. And an immigrant comes along. What do you think's best for your island with the 10 people with £10,000? Do you want an immigrant that's got £10,000 like you, or do you want an immigrant who's got nothing? So what do you reckon the best scenario is? Well, I'll tell you because it's just quick because we're all talking. You pick the one without any money. The one who's got money then devalues your whole currency. But the one that comes with nothing, he then needs, or that person, he, they need to find somewhere to eat, sleep, the whole thing, get clothes, work, the whole thing. So they add, the one that comes with money devalues your currency. So,
well, you see,
what they've done then,
I mean, you probably
all these people in with nothing to bolster the economy. But I also understand, I'm self-employed. There used to be maybe me and one other person going for a job. There's like 20 people going for a job now, unless they come to you. It's do you know, it's what I see, and you'll see it. I mean, I'm a campaigner for anybody, especially for the homeless. They're the ones that haven't got a voice, and they are, to me, what society just doesn't want to see. It's like the ultimate failure of society is to have anybody homeless in a civilized society. The ultimate failing at the minute is to charge children for education. We didn't vote for it, nobody did, but it's still, they slipped it under the door, didn't they? They do everything. But the way I see it is, you look at the royal family that's having the latest wedding coming up, and what they're doing, they're clearing the homeless out of the way because they don't want them on TV. They don't want to actually face the problems that are right there, yeah, in our own countries. To me, the rich are disgusting, and I'm not just talking middle class. I'm talking that just hide the money in offshore accounts all over the world. These people, and they go on about the Arabs, and people say, oh, it must be the Arabs with all the money. I think they had the patents to this technology, yeah? Because I kept thinking, well, if they haven't got oil fields and the Gulf War wasn't really about that, it was just about destroying the sacred ISIS symbols, and ISIS related to the moon, which is the earth, and these religious sects over there, they understood more about this, yeah?
So the way I see it is,
They also didn't have the American banking system.
we could destroy it though. We can, as the people, there's more of us, millions of us, yeah? Millions of us and a couple of these families. What are we doing? Why are we just going, hang on a minute, let's just arrest these people? It's as simple as that. And if they want to go on about it, we need to expose the jet engines because it's God's created energy. And it's as simple as that. You can't patent God. Dyson's tried to do it. Outside Dyson's factory, he's got a bloody jet engine. He's got an aircraft, yeah, right outside the factory. And he's going, oh, yes, this cyclone technology is how he invented it. No, he didn't. It's if you're in the club and you're born into the right peerage and families, you get the jobs. And I'm not going to go into stories about what's happened to my dad over the years and stuff, but I'm sure there's many people out there have had it happen to them. You work your way up and then they get rid of you and bring somebody else in that's not as qualified. And why the hell did they get the job? It's a boys' club. It always has been, and I guess it always will be unless we break the mold. And we are the majority, the workers. You know, I'm not working at the minute, but I was a worker. You know what I mean? My wife's out there working and all the rest of it, but I just can't understand why people can't.
I do understand this stuff you're talking about, though, because I went to the polls yesterday. I filmed it, but for some reason my camera didn't save it or whatever, something went wrong. But I was filming it because I was going there to do a no vote. And I said to these people, why isn't there a no on the ballot paper? No, I don't want this. Because I said, they put a no on there, a lot more people will vote no. And the women said, oh, I don't know. I never thought about that.
No, well,
and that's where you are.
They want us to buy in.
Whole waking up thing.
Yeah. Like, don't buy into it. Don't buy into that. Yeah, they've got them at the Masonic Lodge. You look at the Masonic Lodge, then go and look at the Houses of Parliament. They're set out exactly the same. The whole system is set up by the Freemasons. I'm not just talking the ones down the local lodge that dress up and sing songs and get drunk. I'm talking about the high-end royal elite, the L's of the 37s. Yeah, these people are literally playing us for fools, and they're quite happy. Because nobody's waking up to the flat earth, nobody's understanding. I mean, how I've managed to get even a couple of 100 views on the jet engine stuff, to me says there are people at YouTube, and I'm saying YouTube's probably owned by, well, it is owned by Google, is it not? Do they not own Apple? Do they not own all? Yeah, I don't know, who's behind it all.
Well,
they do.
If you think about it, it's probably the CIA that owns everything, man. The NSA.
Yeah, but equally, they've got families. Yeah, they've got families, and there are good people in amongst all the bad ones. Yeah, bad apples and good apples, Taurus apples, call it what you want. There are good ones out there that are obviously fighting the cause. Because at the end of the day, when you understand what they understand, it's us that don't get it, and we just play it. We're played like fools. Here's some politicians. Here's this. Here's that. And people start arguing. You turn on the TV every day, it's the same rubbish on each side, and people they're just arguing them up rather than going, hang on a minute, how's petrol made? Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, well, that's made from water. Let's see if we can replicate that in a school. Oh, we've just invented a free engine here. Oh, let's not patent it. Let's just give it to everyone for free. How about we get the technical guys, the ones that are the wizards at cracking the code? What about the modern car? It's all based on turbochargers now, yeah, which is compressed Fibonacci-ness, which is the same. It's basically the spiral technology that's being.
There's a good question, Joe.
Well, why don't we just hack them? Hack the motherboard, one of the most expensive parts on the car.
Exactly, combustion engine, right? How long's it been around? It's been around over 100 and however many years. How long? It's been around a long time.
Right, Mr. T. Ford, right, with his Ford. Ford is what you cross with the water with, isn't it? Yeah, it's got the blue symbol.
Yeah, the symbol's all water related.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's all water related. You've got a citizenship. It's not only citizenship. There's fucking millions of them, man. Partnership, internship.
Yeah, school. You go to a school of fish. Yeah, I mean, it's beyond a joke. It really is beyond a joke. But
have you done an apprenticeship?
Yeah.
I mean, have you?
All right. Well, that's what I had to do my gas and my plumbing. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I've had to do I've done it
was NVQs, and I did my lead, which they stopped doing that in the end. But no, I just sit here, right? And I've been bashing these videos out. You've seen them, half of them. I throw them up and think this is rubbish, but the content's there, and I hope maybe that'll hit somebody, you know, and somebody else will make a better video. Because ultimately, if I've reached a couple of hundred people, that you know, and they reach another couple of hundred, and so on, and you spark an idea in somebody's head, you need to reach some clever bod that's good at computers and goes, oh, I'll try and rehack my car. I reckon you can get any modern car to run on air, and all you need to do is what there's a guy actually. I followed him, Eric the car guy, and there's another guy what they'll show you is if a modern car has a leaking cylinder head and water gets inside the actual engine, it cleans the piston. That actual piston will be like new. So what do you think you're doing? You're putting in a lubricant that's cleaning the clag, the black stuff that's building up from burning the air. That's what the petrol is. That's the way I see it. Yeah. Or more so with the diesel engine, which doesn't actually require a spark. It just has a glow plug just to heat that initial bit of air. Then it's all compressed air that it's firing. Yeah. So the technology is there now, and we're using it. And I reckon they probably, you know, like all the aircraft, as far as I can see, I did a video on the EasyJet bus. I did call it something else, but bus drivers of the sky. That all of these aircraft just run on GPS. They fly themselves. They just sit there. They have to have a pilot there because the passengers wouldn't get on a plane thinking it flew itself. They are there in case of an emergency. One of the things fails. Yeah. They give them the illusion, which is a bit like the new RoboCop film, that they are actually flying the plane, but they're not. They wouldn't let them do it. And I did a video as well saying we're living in like the Back to the Future series of films. We are actually living in the future now, but they've made it out that we're living in the Wild West. We're living with the latest technology, and they're drip feeding it to us. This phone I'm using here is touchscreen. It would have blown my mind a few years ago, when, you know, the iPads and all that jazz. But they've had it for years. But they ain't going to, you know what I mean? They've got to break it to us because our brains can't comprehend it. And that's what the jet engine is. It's right there. It's right there. The most amazing piece of kit, engineered technology you could ever comprehend. It's right there. You can get on it and fly, go to Tenerife, go wherever you want. But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just waffling, eh? Is anybody there?
There's no silence on the Sun and Moon group. We love everything that you say, man. I mean,
no,
honestly,
well,
I'm well
just
into it. But hang on a second, I'm really into it. And the thing is this: the good thing about you have. What did you say? You'll be pleased if you could wake up 100 people.
I've literally. I mean, I'm my last check, and as far as I know, they're going to shut my account down tomorrow.
Why?
Unless they pay, well, because I've got 3 strikes, and they gave me an email saying you've 7 days, and that's Saturday, I think. And I did appeal against the copyright infringement. It was on it was the guy, you know, the guy with the shades filling up the aircraft.
Okay.
His video that was nearly 4 years old, for some reason got a copyright strike on it out the blue. And that I mean, I've got one up that said it's had 50,000 views, but I look at that and think, has it really? Has it had a lot more, and they won't tell you? I don't know.
No, I think they mess around with those numbers all the time, man. Really.
I personally think, right, and people are going to go, how you know, if you're not connected to all this and they are going to let this technology go. There's an awakening in the Force, which was the last. And funnily enough, I caught the again on Cody the last Star Wars movie, which I really enjoyed. Actually, even though I know space is a load of nonsense, I think that movie is more about the mind. And at the very end scene, you've got the blood and the salt, and it's just, you know, it's like your veins are all salty, aren't they, and stuff. And he's projecting his mind. I don't want to ruin it for anybody if they've not seen it, but she's over in Ireland, and they filmed it over in Ireland because the moon is projected through Ireland. That's why everybody on Earth can say they're from Ireland and trace their history back to it. Yeah, I did a video on that one. It didn't get many hits either.
What do you mean the moon's projected from Ireland? The
moon has to come up. And I say I say we live in a torus. It's not a physical hole. It's an energy hole where the crystals are obviously lined up. Like I don't know if you've ever seen the Giant's Causeway where they've got the hexagrams.
Yeah.
Goes from over here to Scotland. I think this part of the world is where the energy field. It's a bit like those pinhole cameras. Yeah.
Jones, are you in Northern Ireland then?
Yeah, I'm over in Northern Ireland.
All right, okay, good.
And that's like I did do a video saying they chased all the snakes out of Ireland, the Catholic lot, but then I returned.
It's only because you have a very northern accent on you, but I can hear a little twang of Irish
York.
there.
It's York, my friend. I lived in. I did my growing up, my drinking time in York. That's why I'd absolutely despise Tiger Dan for what he did. And if
Is
you
he
don't
from
know
York?
yeah, Tiger Dan 925 was it or something?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the way I mean,
Guy's
don't
a
get me
dick.
wrong. Yeah, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people following these different religions, and I don't agree with them. But I'm not going to take the mickey out of them because I know something they don't know. I'm going to try and show them it, and if they don't want to take it on board, that's fine. But I'm not going to invite one and then start doing a video and then going to put it up on YouTube and know damn well that you know what I mean. It's just it sickened me, that guy did, and he still does. And I know damn well he's going to be making a lot of money because he's not into it all. What do? You shut your channel down then, buddy. You just get rid of your channel if you think it's all nonsense. No, he left his channels up, and you look at the viewing figures that fella's getting. I'm sure he's making a tidy penny out of that. I'm convinced he is. Which, incidentally, to date, I have received zero payment from anything I've ever done on YouTube. Because I've had many people going, oh, yeah. And I'm like, nope, I've not received anything.
Hey,
You do,
John the Club brother. I mean, yeah, we're in it. We're in it, aren't we?
Brothers and sisters of ISIS. I've done video on that. We're ISIS being the earth. We're all brothers and sisters they're all fractals from the source. The source, what is the source? The Prometheus film where he drops himself into the water. As I say, there's clues in all of the films. Yeah. And people go, I say that the Hollywood is actually that they go on about the holy wood and the tree and the tree and the oak, and you look at the sperm, the semen, how it contains all life, and it's you can't even comprehend it. Yeah, that's what I said. The air is, you can't comprehend it. It's just so minute. Yet you're breathing it in. Yeah. And you look at all of these people going, breathe in, do your breathing exercises, breathe it in, and all this sort of meditation and stuff, and you're breathing in God's energy.
Yeah, but I've that what you were saying there, earlier when you mentioned like the waters as above, so below. I've always been under the impression that even though we are breathing air, I mean, this is from when I was younger. The air is a kind of liquid. It's just a different viscosity, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what it is? You know what it is? It's air is watered down water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did a little video and I'd compared it to, I don't know, I put it up on my channel, but it's like you get a mistifier, when you go to the hairdresser and they spray your hair, you get that tiny little particles, then you put that through another little one, and then you put it through another little one, and you just keep doing it until you can't see those tiny particles, and that's the air. In certain conditions, you see the clouds, and we have a room here where my stepson's now left, but he used to stay in here, and he never opened the window, so you get the damp on the walls. So we got anyway, he's gone, and we've got one of those dehumidifiers, and that just basically collects the air out the water. The water out the air, sorry, which is the same thing, one and the same,
Yeah.
And that's what when they say they do a fuel dump on these aircraft, they have to get rid of all those passengers that are breathing all that air, don't they? They have air conditioning, don't they? Air conditioning units have to dump the liquid. It's not dumping. They don't dump liquid fuel out of a wing while they're flying along. It's just an absolute joke. They have to get rid of hot air when they're coming into land, back pressure on the engine. The problem is, I mean, I can only speculate, and I'll say I've read lots of stuff.
When you say that, right, about dumping fuel, considering the engines are hot and burning and turning and all that, you wouldn't want fuel to accidentally go in there, would you?
It's just an absolute joke. The way that they tell you there's liquid fuel in the wings and you're flying. Next time, we're, for the first time in, I don't know, 7 years or so, we're actually going on holiday this year. And I'm actually going to get, my youngest has never been on a plane. He's going to get to go on a plane. And I cannot wait because they always do at the airport over here. They always do the bank where they turn to head off in the right direction. And that even if they had tanks, of course they're going to slosh between. It's just a joke. It's an absolute joke. I've lost count of how many videos I have on my channel. Like you said, the hydraulics, the pipe work, the ducting, because the jet engine provides the air for the cabin as well. I know they say, oh, it's too thin and all that. Well, that's why you can't have much alcohol on, because you're getting the air from the atmosphere. Yeah?
Mm.
They don't have. I mean, well, because they say it's thinner, don't they? And it affects your brain and all that. You can only have those little shots. Although I've stolen, we managed to get a couple of bottles of beer on a flight once, but that was a while ago. I don't drink anymore. People have been accusing me of I've lost my mind and all that, but it must be, I don't know. I mean, year and a half I've stopped drinking. Once I understood and realised what it was all about, you just want to learn more. And when your mind's fuddled with drink and whatever else, you can't do it.
I understand that, yeah.
But don't get me wrong.
Sorry. No, but we were
I was going to say,
talking
nothing against anyone drinking or doing drugs. It's up to them. It's your life. I'm no saint.
That's a good question. Why would the aeroplane show 200? Well, it doesn't maybe have 210,000 gallons. It's just that it could, they said, hold that. But what about the gauges in the aeroplane? Oh yeah, those tanks of fuel are full. What's all that then? Because the pilots are the same.
Pilots,
like you say, they're not maybe mechanics.
No, but the pilots, pilots. I followed a blog of one of the pilots, and he was more interested in where he'd been, what bottles of champagne he'd bought, why he was there, what watch he'd got. The Quagmire out of Family Guy is to me is an epitome of these guys. They're very. I'm guessing there's a few of them have probably worked it out, but it's a prestige thing. And I did put about the long haul flights and a certain part of the cabin and the air hostesses, and Virgin bought an airline because he was obsessed with the air hostesses. Mr. Richard Branson and his Virgin Airlines, his Virgin trains, which are using the gas turbine engines, which is another joke. People are commuting to London, spending thousands on these tickets, and they're getting on diesel. When I say diesel, you're talking air burning trains. You're talking the modern ones are using the gas turbine engines, which is sucking. So there's no fuel. So what on earth are they paying for?
What about the electric trains, Jones?
What about them? I knew a guy when we were in York, and his dad, I mean, he couldn't hold a pull cube. The guy, I mean, I won't mention his name, but I probably did in the video. His dad was part of the engineering crew that electrified the line. They just put these lines up, yeah? You watch a train go past, they don't touch the lines, and yet they're electrified. And I watched one as well it was in India when one of the guys on BBC Two went on one of those long journeys, and it was going along, and then it went down. So they're telling you that those engines are like your electric, they're connected to the cables, but they're not. It's all for show. And I did do the one on the pylons over here that run off to the power station that's shutting down next month, and nobody over here is going, well, where's the power coming from then? They're just all happy that there's giant pylons running across the country that are doing nothing. They look good. And then all the substations where the little gas turbine engines are, or actually, I say gas turbine engines, all I keep seeing are these giant water tanks outside these substations. When you start, Google them near you where you are, or find one, they're massive. And there's all these water pipes everywhere. And that Victor Scherberger, he will go on about how he could get with inside an egg shape and create this vortex, enough probably to spin up a turbine, and you've got free energy. And it's been there for years. It's all localized. You build a hotel, what do? They put a massive substation there, which is basically either one of these Scherberger things or a gas turbine engine purring away. It's not connected to the grid because there is no grid. It's another joke. But I'm not advertising that anybody climb a pylon, because you might fall off and hurt yourself. Just my opinions.
So the pylons aren't collecting free energy then? They're doing nothing?
I can't see them doing anything. The guys that put them up you can actually watch the pylon guys. There were a lot of paddies from over here. They put them up in a day.
My mate travels the plane fixing those pylons and stuff. I mean, he was in Haiti. He was in. He's been all over the world, man. I mean, he travels the world fixing high-powered electric cables. I'm going to ask him what the fucking crack is. And I've seen they've got trenches and they're working overnight. Like,
I know a guy that works on the railways, and he'll tell you, they have to turn off the electrics. We see him do it. And you're like, procedure, yeah. And the guy that's doing
turn off the power.
Yeah. But it's just, as I say, the world's run on. It's like smoke and mirrors. But they've set up the games, and the people that have got the free energy, they've got the money. I mean, I don't think people can comprehend how much money is being made every day by these people. I mean, trillions is probably not even a word for it, yeah? And it's, of course, if you trace it back, it's the church. The churches own the land that we have to pay our rent to. They own the governments. They own the banks. Look at all the free cubes that are in all of the banking symbols. Look at the pyramid in London on top of those buildings, yeah, at Canary Wharf. The black horse, the black horse, right? You've got the Ferrari logo, haven't you? Yeah. The horse. Well, On a Pale Horse I Ride was a book. I forget the name of the guy. You could probably remember him, but the pale horse is the earth. The unicorn is the earth, yeah, or the moon. The moon's reflection in the sky. It goes up and down. I reckon that the old gypsies that ran the fairs, they actually knew all this sacred knowledge and kept it in their little fairgrounds. So when you're going on these rides, the waltzes that go up and down, it's just like the moon's doing in the sky. Anybody can photograph the moon or watch the moon over a month and see it doing this sine wave.
Yeah.
It's that bloody simple. It really is that simple. You don't have to. What I'm showing and trying to explain to people, I will encourage anyone to debunk my flat Earth model of where we live. Any one of you. I will happily defend it to the end. It's not even hard to defend. I've only found this out by observation.
You want to explain that for anybody who's listening?
I was just going to say, actually, is there any chance that you could do a presentation at some time, so that we could visually see things?
I've come on here. No, I say I've come on here because I need to obviously reach out to people a bit more now. I've been on my own for how long now? I've been on, for a long, long time, as in my YouTube channel and all the rest of it. And I've watched other people and I just get disheartened because I'm like, going, I can help you here, but no one wants to listen. No one's prepared to listen. And now they're shutting me down. I don't know what's going to happen as of tomorrow, whether I'll get an appeal, whether I'll have to. I've got another channel which I'm uploading to at the minute, and I'll give you details, and I'm more than happy to do. I'm going to try and get a video of everything combined into one. It's a bit hard for me because I'm not best with computers, as you're probably aware.
Sorry, before you can continue and before I forget, have you got a name for that channel, the second channel there that you're on about?
Yeah, you probably watched one of my logo videos. So I did Northern Ireland, Volkswagen, Audi, Golf, yeah.
All right.
And then I mirrored it, so it's Gavin on the other side.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I think if you look, you can trace that one of the knights of Arthur's Round Table was called Gavin as well, which I thought was kind of amusing. But yeah, that's the one. I don't know whether they'll take that one down as well. I don't know because I say I took two down myself. But yeah, no, I'm not going anywhere, and I say I'm here to try and fight our corner. And I tell you what, I'm talking fight the churches. I'm talking fight the governments. Fight them all. And what's it to be scared of? Don't we live in a civilized society where we're entitled to our opinions? Didn't millions of our relatives die in the Second World War for that right?
Yeah. You've also got to consider that some people are disappearing when they speak too loudly.
The wars are fake. So unfortunately,
they have nothing but fear, and they will tell you, "Oh, that person died. This happened." Oh yeah, it's there.
They were part of the game.
But no, they've
gone for their country, haven't they? You're right. That's what they think they've done.
Yeah, no, it's a big game, and I'll just say, I'll give you one example as well. I was going to do a video on Mount Meru and what it actually stood for, and how the number 11, the L's of the Elohim, the elite, and all this jazz. Yeah, you do 11 times 11 times 11, 1,331 is the answer. You can do this on your calculator. Yeah. I did do a video with your 33 in the middle, yeah? So you've 1, 3, 3, 1, yeah? Times 11. What's the middle cube? That's a cube. What's the middle cube? The number of man and the beast, 666, yeah? It is just geometry. It's not satanic. It's not weird. But what hour and what month do they celebrate the war ending?
11th for the 11th.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah. It's all a game. We are being played like fools. We are the jesters. That's what they see us as, you know. And all it is because we're not educated. They control the educational system. I could tell you about that, but I'm not allowed. I know all about teachers and stuff, and I tell you what, it literally is. Yeah, pat them on the head, and they'll think they're awesome. Yeah, and that's how it's done. And give them a degree, and they think they're better. And give them a master's degree, they think they're even better. But what have they learned? They've just learned from what they've told them and repeated it. And that's that. I might not agree with what a lot of David Icke says, but he doesn't half wake you up. And I did read his book. I've gone through it all. I've watched Ric Clay. I watched the Zion opening Olympic ceremony. I used to wake up at 3 o'clock every morning.
Have you read that The Biggest Secret? Was it The Biggest Secret, David Icke?
Yeah, read his book. It's truth and lies, and maybe he's not allowed to. I reckon the guy knows everything. He's just not allowed to say.
I think, he also inspired me a lot as well. And this is going back a few years when that book was first come out, weren't it? But when he got onto the thing about the lizards and stuff, I was like, oh, fucking hell, man, where am I going now?
That's the problem, you see.
Back then,
can I just,
and even now, if I was to read it today, I would be thinking like, I can't understand this. Sorry.
Before I forget, actually, no, so I want to get this one on record. Imagine a spinning disc, a spinning floating Earth, right? You've got a rock that's made out of diamagnetic, whatever it is, and we're suspended in this giant torus apple, I will do a video on it. I have done bits and bobs on it, but anyway, what if, gravity is definitely not what they're telling you. This convergence of energy is coming down to this part we're on, and this inward, it's coming at you, and that's how they utilize the energy to create the jet engine, bits and bobs. But what I'm saying is, what if it's definitely coming up underneath as well, but what if there's another world underneath where we are, and they are the lichens, they are the reptiles, they aren't from this part of the world? And they talk about, it's all in all of these, the aliens, about what if they came through the toroidal hole, and there's actually a way to get from the underside, the underverse, to the top realm. I know it sounds crazy, and I did have a little bit of in my head going, hang on a minute. And then it was one of those moments where I thought, why do we burn in the sun? Maybe we're descendants from them. Maybe we shouldn't have ever been on this part of the coin, the wrong side of the coin, It's just something to throw out there anyway. Don't want to blow anyone's mind, but I thought it was kind of cool.
You have got the right attitude there, like with this, thinking and using your imagination and what have you, because that's all we have really, in a sense. Today I was looking at the sun. It was like 5:15. I was looking at the sun, and the sun was actually quite high in the sky still, I had my sunglasses on, but I could look at the sun. No, hang on a second. Before I had my sunglasses on, right, and I could look at the sun. And all right, they're not the best sunglasses. They're not. But I took my glasses off and I looked at the sun direct with my eyes. Do you know what? This is 5 o'clock, and the sun isn't low. Now I'm talking about it's way over my head, high up over my head. It didn't even make my eyes water. So I'm thinking, what's going on, man? Because, all right, we're in April. We're not into the summertime yet, but I would imagine I would, kind of suffer or something looking at the sun at that time of the day. But I mean, I can't look at it at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, maybe not, because it's going to make my eyes, water, and I really cannot look at it. But today I was looking at it thinking, man, what is it? What's going on? I could stare at that beast. I could stare at that, and there was
you can stare at it all day and night.
Do you think we're going into the ice age that everybody's talking about?
I hope not.
And if we are, it'll be such a gradual process, nothing to be frightened of. It happens over thousands of years, that whatever happens, they will scare the living daylights out of us. I did actually come out.
How do you know we've been here that long? We might not be as old as they say we are. Everything's fine.
I totally agree. If what I'm saying, the world's built. When was it built? Who first started spinning it? Who first went, right, let's start spinning the square? When I say spin the square, it doesn't have to be a circle, does it?
No.
I've done the video, and if you spin a square, spin a triangle, it creates a circle on the outer edge. And equally with the sun, although we see an arch, it's called the ecliptic, and that's where everything, if you start studying astronomy, it's dead easy. Go in your back garden and find where the sun rises and sets. That's the same path that the moon follows. That's the same path that Venus follows. Jupiter follows. The wandering stars, all of them.
I've got a question for you here, right? When the sun sets, isn't it setting about? Is it? I have these numbers in my head. It's like 273 degrees east, west of east. Is it? No,
Yeah, no.
Hang on a
I,
sec.
I wouldn't
273.
see you're going on with numbers, right? I can. We've got numbers, yeah. And the relationships between cubes and spheres and bits and bobs. I'll do a video on it, but you see, you start talking numbers and people switch off. I know this from chatting to people in my house, chatting to my parents. I do have parents. I'm not an alien. It's like,
all right, but
just
specifically, just to put it in layman's terms. When I'm looking at the sun going down, I can see it's going down over that tree there. I would like to know why it's going down exactly there, and where else is it going down for other people? You know, I want to see exactly where it's going down. The only way to do that is to find out on a compass what the compass reading is. You know, and I know we don't like to use numbers for you know.
I mean that I've got books here. I'm sat here with books with numbers and I do my videos and I try and make it simple as I can, because I do know most people are switched off from maths from school. The education system destroys it for most people. So I don't try and involve them. But when you say the sun's setting, it's just going off on a massive, you're on a massive thing, yeah? And it's going off out of your line of sight. It's not even a physical thing. So you can see clouds behind it. Same with the moon. People go, I can see clouds behind the moon. Of course you can. It's not a physical thing. It's an optical illusion. Yeah? And I thought, can I just dispel the myth as well that I've been out at 12 o'clock one night with a full moon with my infrared thing that I use to check the radiators are full of sludge, the temperature thing. It doesn't create its own heat or anything. It's another myth. I just want that one on record for people. You can see there's a convergence point of energy. It might be a straight line, which I think it probably is. Okay, and like I said about the hypercube bouncing backwards and forwards, and we'll only see it as an arch because of our field of vision. That's the way I see it anyway. There's also a lot more. I think you're actually looking at a very clever, a Celtic knot, a trifold torus knot as well when you see the moon. But I'm going to do further videos on that. I don't want to confuse people. I probably confuse them enough anyway. It is. It's a mind job. Getting your head around it, because they've set it up in such a way. That's why I try and do short, concise little snippets of bits and bobs, so you can go back and watch that video again. And because if you try and put too much in one, it blows your mind.
Yeah. Okay. Can I just say, you've actually inspired me again. This is like going back a few years now, because when I first started on all this, I started like more or less with the Antarctic and shit, you know, and animals and nature. But I was looking at a torus field, and I drew like a kind of it almost looks like an apple core. You know, if you draw a circle and
precisely,
and then a circle below, you've eaten an apple. You've eaten that apple, and I was like,
give the teacher an apple. She doesn't understand what it means.
So I'd drawn this vortex, right, or this torus field. I'm looking at it and thinking, man, this, in some ways, this seems to make a lot of sense, but I couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, what's it all about? You know, and I can still do the drawing today, like, you know, and still look at it and think, what is it all about? There is something to do with that pattern. There is something to do with that shape. And there is definitely something to do with the torus field and the sun and the moon.
Well,
you know,
mentioning
and it's
that,
like
actually,
trying to get it all together, you know.
For anyone listening to this, the Maru Foundation, Stan Tenen has a great website where he actually goes into some great detail, and he actually references the flat Earth plane in it with a Taurus apple. So he's a really good starting point for anybody that's wanting to look at
what's it called? Did you say
the Meru MERU Foundation? And is Stan Tenen?
I can't remember. Yeah. I think we've seen that actually. Santos Bonacci did it on here a while back.
Oh right, okay. I know.
He's shown that.
He's one of the best as far as I'm concerned with the Taurus side of things. But when you mention as well, you've got the Northern Lights, which you're actually seeing the magnetism in the sky there, aren't you? It's as simple as that. There's Southern Lights, there's Southern versions of it as well, because you've got another one, but I think there's a third one that we can't see. Hey there. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Just, people drop
Lev
off.
Lev drops off.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, hang on.
The battery's run out.
Let me just have a look at mine. Battery.
Carry
Actually, hold on. I don't even know. Oh, shit, I'm about to get. So I've got me. Well spotted there. Plug you in for a sec. There we go. You still there?
Yeah.
That's all right. No. What was I saying? Yeah. So you've got the Northern Lights showing you this magnetism going on in the sky, and I did a video about people dancing around the maypole. Head out to the North Pole. I would love, and I'm hoping to do it. I'm going to do a whole Donkey Kong you know, the last Donkey Kong film that was what was it called? Something Island. The name escapes me. Anyway, I'm going to do and try and get as many of these copyright bits and bobs up on my descriptions. But I'm going to show you how that film is explaining about the energy of where we live and how it was based at the North Pole, and the whole way through the film they're hinting at it all the way through it. Yeah, and I'm going to do one on the Superman because it's literally is. People have compared that film to Jesus, and it is Jesus if you want to get technical. Yeah. And I did do me Jesus and the 12, the cube octahedron, and the 12 spheres surrounding the central one. I've done loads of videos, but no one, as I say, I don't really get many comments or anyone saying much about them, to be honest. But again, who knows whether they go anywhere? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's it. I'm interested to see, because I've not seen any of your videos. Karen's told me a lot about them.
Well,
but I'm kind of like.
There won't be that.
No,
well,
but
I'm hoping, as I say, this new channel should be up there with me GG in the centre of the 77. Yeah.
Have you saved them offline?
I've got
hard copies.
I've got all the originals, but I've got them on memory. I've got them on memory sticks, and I'm going to redo some of them because some of them weren't great. Okay. As I say, I just throw them up as best.
You're good. And maybe even after this chat, I've got something that I would ask you that I recommend that you do in regards to your videos and stuff.
By all means, no worries.
Yeah.
So you're not uploading them to the icon that's showing now?
I am. Yeah, I've already uploaded quite a few. These are just more flat Earth related videos for people. I've got Jetege as well, Jet, and then it mirrored again, which I'm going to try and use that for anything. I think they're going to, they'll bring that video down, and I'm going to use that on my other one, if you know what I mean. I'm hoping to try and get around the copyright somehow, but I don't know. So if they say all that, and I'll say, well, that's the original uploader. So anyway, I don't know if it'll work. It might not, but most of my stuff's going to go up on this one here. Northern Ireland Volkswagen Audi Golf. They'll probably get me for that, for trademark on that or something. And I've obviously used the VW logo with the Rodent coil, which I did the video on. Yeah. I don't know if anyone watched that one, but yeah, that symbol is awesome.
I know it's hard to know what to do nowadays, isn't it? Like we've already been the strike bit, we've already done all that, and at the beginning of the videos now, I always say that I'm just using it's fair copy, fair rights. I'm not proclaiming these people.
As I say, to be honest with you, I'd be quite honest. If they don't want the video up, it won't go live. Like this, you try and upload this, and if there's something in it they don't like, it won't go live. It won't get the hits. It'll just you know what I mean? The internet where no one will find it. But that's why, as I say, I try and do as many short, concise little snippet videos which I can hope people can download and share and re-upload and whatever else. Yeah, because you put a big long-winded one up, you know what I mean, more likely that they're not going to let it show. But I don't know, I'd actually like to speak to the people that are running YouTube and just say, what on earth are you doing? What do you want us to do?
I don't understand why they can't warn you.
Why don't they just talk to me? They've got my email address, they know where I live. They know where I live. That's why. Just for anybody, can I just put this on record for anybody out there that's worried about doing a channel, or they know where you live. As soon as you go on the internet, they know where you live. They've got your IP address.
Yeah.
So don't be worried and don't be scared and don't be frightened by all of the idiots that are out there trying to frighten you off. And don't be scared of all this satanic nonsense that's still being perpetrated by the films and all the rest of it. It is just nonsense trying to hide sacred geometry and the quadrivium and Pythagorean mystery schools. They just don't want you looking into it, because then you'll start to switch on to the flat Earth. You'll switch on to the free energy, the jet engines are using. I'll keep saying it, but yeah. But there's nothing to be scared of. You're gonna die in the end anyway, aren't you? I could.
On one of my other channels, right, I made a video. Someone complained, so they told me I had 48 hours to blur out that person's face, and then it would meet their standards, and then they wrote back to me and said it met the standards. Give me 48 hours to do that, and not give you 48 hours to take a video off. And the other thing, right, okay, maybe you've broken the rule, their rules, but if you've removed a video, why do you get striked for a video you've removed?
I've no idea. As I keep saying, I just wish they would. If they want us to put up,
they want to slap in the back of the wrist, don't you? That's why.
If they want us to put up videos, tell us, email us and say, can you do these videos, please? We want you to start drip feeding this out into society. We'll do it. There's plenty of people in the truth movement that are a lot more advanced than I am. I'm talking Xantos Bonacci and other people that have been at it for. I mean, he's been showing you the sine wave, and very cleverly. I don't know why he just didn't come out from the start. I know his later videos, he's really going for it now, isn't he? Which is really good. But he was showing me the serpent man and what was the name? The something of Egypt, and I did actually buy the book off his recommendation. So, but it's a sine wave curve, and he showed you the old maps, didn't he? And you know, of course he knows. Xantos Fibonacci. He's Xantos Satan.
He knows Xantos
Joseph.
quite well.
Xantos
Yeah,
Bonacci.
he knows. But yeah, Fibonacci. I call him Xantos Fibonacci, and it's an avatar. It's so equally when you all of the film stars and all these people, it's not their real names. So when they say, "Oh, he's dead," it just means the avatar's dead.
Santos is his real name, isn't it?
I've no idea. I've never met the fella, but it's a great name if that's what he was born with.
That's his real name. That is his real name.
He just reminds me.
As far as I know, yeah. And he said a few times about his where he relates from and what have you, in Italy, and yeah.
A lovely part of the world, Italy, and I was going to say as well, he did. That America was under the influence of the Gemini twins, yeah. And what I actually think he meant by that was they are being projected through the firmament underneath America, and it might even be where the Twin Towers were. I don't know. I'm just throwing that one out there because when I say all of the fixed stars are coming up through the ground, yeah, they're this ending Tron, the film, they'll tell you we live on an energy grid, creating life, and what you're seeing out there is an energy field, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's out there making this thing. It could well be this just a square flat thing we're on is creating life as we know it. It was a great film. I can't even remember it years ago where they had like a gladiator ring where they used to just put these things in. When they landed on the grid, they came alive. Then when they lifted them off, they died. I forget what it was called. But yeah, I think that's pretty similar to where we are.
Yeah, it sounds like that.
But I just think, as I say, as I said about YouTube and all that, just have the balls to just drop me an email. It's like with all of you,
What I'm saying, they gave me 48 hours to sort that out. Why can't they?
Yeah, but can I just say
the same for other things?
Sorry, Karen. Can I just say something? Right, this is ridiculous. I mean, now we're talking about. There are videos on YouTube where people are getting their hands chopped off or their heads chopped off or like serious bad shit that's going on.
Snorting condoms, yeah, that sort of thing.
Oh, whatever, yeah, anything, Whereas I would be offended by that kind of stuff. Now we're talking about, flat Earth, sun energy, or we've been talking about biogas and flipping high pressure, low pressure, hypercubes and hyperpole, whatever,
Yeah.
But yet, this is not allowed to be heard because this is. Oh, no one's allowed to hear that kind of stuff. As Santos was said, Jesus, what's going on? You're not allowed to hear that kind of stuff. Flipping it, man. We can go to any. Sorry,
I was going to say
Jones,
Jesus
we can go to any library, right, and we can find any book, or we can go online and we can get the books of Yeah, you mentioned before Wheeler and
Ken,
who else did you
Ken,
say?
yeah.
Dan Winter, and I mean,
Yeah.
fucking, we can find books online. We can find books online if we need to find them. We don't need to have YouTube to help us, to help the rest of the population of this plane. But it would be nice if they were helping us. And that's what I don't understand. Why is it allowed?
It's
Why is it
bonkers.
allowed?
I'll tell you what's bonkers.
That's what I mean. Why is it
They
allowed
have
to
helped
go up and
me.
beat the shit out of a little kid or whatever? Or
They've
an
helped
old
me
man?
find. Yeah, no, but they've helped me find these people like your channel here and Xantos, and they let them share snippets, and it's a bit like breadcrumbs. They're everywhere. You have to find them, and then you have to want to learn, and you have to want to buy the books. You're not just going to wake up and realize this. And I can tell you all what I found out, and people, yeah, whatever. Because I know I probably would a few years ago. Because I'm saying some big stuff, and people they just poo is gas, and the stuff, even something like that, they can't get their head around that they're being sold back their own poo.
No.
You get what I mean when they've got their lovely brand new cooker or the brand new boiler and that, and they're like, no, they wouldn't do that, would they? And so they just dismiss it. They just literally dismiss it, and it's just they wouldn't run jet engines on air. Oh no, don't be silly. So they'd rather just buy into them.
Can I say something? Astral, with what he said, does it make you change your mind at all about, because you've worked in an airport?
All this what's been said tonight, yeah, a fair bit, yeah. I missed the beginning. I must say I missed like the first 20 minutes or so, didn't I? Or even more if I know you guys. But yeah, I'm very interested. 10. I am extremely, I'm interested in everything, and I'm still trying to figure things out. So many things I'm trying to look and figure out, but it's coming together. I know that it's coming together because just having you on today, Jones, right? I mean, I'm going back years now where I started looking into this flipping Apple core thing where I've got this vortex in my head and I'm drawing pictures of
literally is in your head. It's your brain. It's a vortex. It's a, what's the word? It's a labyrinth. Yeah, it's right there.
But it's something that I know.
It's born. You built with it, yeah. You built with Fibonacci. You built with the ratio, and yeah.
I'm sure that we all have this inherent ability that we know who we are, where we're from, and where we're going. It's just that
relearning it all again.
It's like those cicada beetles, or 13 years, or what they call those beetles that they can stay underground in little cocoons until suddenly they all start hatching exactly more or less the same time.
Well, as
I say, those beetles.
All I know about the dung beetle, the one pushing the poo back, was in Egypt, and obviously
I had
that.
No, not that one though, but the other beetles where they just wake up after like 13 years, and people are like, what? And if they don't wake up after 13 years, it's some other Fibonacci number where they wake up, but it's only on a Fibonacci number they wake up. And it's very, very interesting.
When the world's built with Fibonacci, it makes total sense, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah.
And as I said, I did the video with the 108 codes, and what's Jane Magimatics, the guy from Australia. I'd mentioned his channel. Lovely fella. He's your sacred geometry man.
That SGD.
Jane 108s. If you just tap his name in YouTube, and he's brilliant. Absolutely fabulous work he's done. I can't thank him enough.
Yeah.
But basically, inside this dodecahedron, the Dan Winter will talk about it's your Fibonacci numbers, the ratios. It's in your hand, it's in your ear, it's your whole body, your whole everything. The whole world's built with it. Once you start seeing it, you'll see the spirals in the sea when the waves are coming in. And I think Xantos did a great thing about the dendritics and how the whole world is built with electricity and magnetism. These laws are applied. You can only work on the Fibonacci ratio. I forget the name of the fellow, Romanovich or whatever his name is a guy on YouTube. Brilliant work as well he's done on that. But this fractals, this being able to have something bigger and then it gets smaller and it stays the same size, same structure, and it just goes in on itself, this is how the energy is working in this world. but it works on Fibonacci. It only works on Fibonacci. And also the City of London.
Why do you think we're here then, Jones?
Why do you think we're here?
Why are we here?
Because God made us. A creator made us.
There is, I mean, people will say we're just a battery, we're in some sort of giant, like the Matrix film, but I think it's a testing ground for your soul, or whatever this thing is, that's the true essence of who you are. And you're here to learn, and you've been here many times before, and that's why you have the deja vu moments. You go somewhere and go, I've been here before, I've met you before, haven't I? And you've probably had them, I've had them loads of times. And yeah, it's a testing ground for your soul. But the problem is what was it? I'm trying to think. Someone was saying they're going about the devil. It's not obviously this red thing with a poker or whatever. It's just the bad part of your psyche, I suppose. And it's these people that are controlling us. Are we being tested to the nth degree? At what point? You know, we're good people. That's the problem. Everybody's good, and they know this, so they use it against us. And you know, I don't know. There's
I think I changed my mind a little bit about things. I did some stuff with spirit groups and stuff like that. But the one thing I've noticed is with mediums, they never say anybody's come back. Whoever they're talking to is always on the other side. And I was wondering whether it was a bit like that guy who explains about flatland.
I think when you
hang on. There's a guy who he's a 60s guy, and he talks about a decahedron. And a decahedron, that's it, yeah. And he talks about one dimension meets a three-dimensional apple. And so the flatlander in one dimension, he can sense the apples there. And if you go and put the bottom of the apple in the ink and you put it next to the flatlander, you'll see the points of the apple. You still won't see the apple. And that's just made me think that this happens in spirit world. They are here. They're just in another dimension, so we can't see them.
Well,
they're always here.
They
don't go anywhere. They're here.
I know the one you mean. Actually, there was that film, wasn't there, where she was given that ticket or whatever, and she picked it up and she could see another world right in front of her or whatever it was playing out. And obviously, you can talk about the different varying scales of light and all the rest of it. I guess the answer is we don't know, and we'll never know. And that's like I said from the start. We're not supposed to understand what's creating this world. You're supposed to enjoy it. We're supposed to all be having a great time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
We were talking yesterday, right, about that, just what you said then. We can't see everything. We can't hear everything. What's all that about, right? Because dogs, they can see better than we can. Snakes can see infrared, can't they? Is it beyond infrared? I mean, we've got these different animals and different, species, and now ourselves as well. We're not all on the same
wavelength,
visual wavelengths. Yeah, exactly. And also, yeah.
Well, that's.
But speaking
no,
another way, we're not on the same wavelength. Sorry, go on.
No, you're just going to say you're on about waves and stuff like that, and as well, it's a bit like. I think it was when I was reading that Dan Winter's book where he was describing the air as it's fluid, and that's why fluid and like you were talking about wavelengths, how it applies to the air as well as the water, because they're basically built with the same structures, at a microscopic level. So as in, like, you've got the bats there using that ultrasonic stuff, aren't they, bouncing their hearing and all the rest of it. But yeah, there's going to be stuff. I mean, for all I know, I could be sat in this room here and there could be 20 people watching me and laughing at me. Yeah. You wouldn't know. You literally wouldn't know, because you're right. You're only here to experience this world. The problem we've got at the moment is, it should be a good experience for everybody. I don't think whoever built this place but I did a video as well where I was saying about the chessboard and how it's all laid out. They've set the rules up, and then part of it is having free will, and that's what makes us human, I guess, But when they've taken away the choice, I can't have the choice to fly down to Australia tomorrow. I haven't got the money.
Exactly.
Takes all year to save up for a holiday. Takes the rest of the year to pay it off.
Yeah.
Basic real. That takes your freedom away, because millions think it's real, and it's a fake reality. So all these things, it's just horrible what they've done to us. Horrible.
But you see, we're at a point now where I don't know.
Why do you think some of it
Two people talking.
Sorry, you're right.
So why do you think only some of us are waking up?
Yeah, what was the guy? Some of them, they keep talking about the 144,000 or whatever, and there's all these, like you said, Fibonacci-ness and all these different things. But maybe not all of us are meant to wake up. Maybe it's just the select few that wake up, and then we wake the rest of them up. And it's always been the way in wars and in history. The sheep follow that one sheep that stands up and goes, "I've had enough of this." And I think most people, they go on about that cognitive dissonance, and most people, either you actually can watch it, and I've tried to show you the EastEnders where they keep advertising Gordon's gin it is as well. There's other various drinks, and you go inside the coffee shop. They've always got a shop. They've always got a fruit and veg shop. You think about what you used to eat many years ago. It was definitely not fruit, because we didn't grow fruit where I live. They put all these products into the shops that were to do with the petroleum industry, the sugar and stuff like that. So that's why they're always advertising bananas. Eat your bananas. They go on about everything. They'll eat your fruit and veg. You can eat a packet of crisps and survive on a packet of crisps, but they're not going to tell you that. There was a girl near Peterborough did it. It was in one of the papers a long while ago. She just ate crisps. It's amazing what you eat. You go to the toilet and see what you produce. 90% of it goes down the toilet, and then the gas board's happy because you've just given them some more gas. It's rich. It literally, I don't think the human body needs.
Guess what? You're paying for it all the way.
Exactly that. You hit the nail on the head.
I had a very long conversation with Tommy Rogers last night, and we talked about a lot of subjects, right? And one of the subjects was about breatharian, about
I heard about that, yeah.
We don't need anything to survive on. Obviously, we need something to drink, but then this
well, like I've just said, I've just said to you, the air is water. Yeah, the air is water, and you just drinking it like a liquid form of the water.
Yeah. Okay, but hang on a second. Let's say you're trapped in some sort of a mine collapse, and whilst you're down there, right, you've got room or whatever, but you're stuck down there. Obviously, you're going to get dehydrated unless you drink, and the only thing that you're going to be able to drink, if there isn't any water down there, is your own urine, And would you do it or not? And I said, "You're damn right."
Are you talking about piss drinking Dave? Piss drinking Dave?
No, we were talking to with.
No, I do. Yeah.
Tommy Rogers last night, but yeah, Dave, allegedly Dave, yeah, he's a big advocate of it as well as millions of people that live in India, or China, there are all these kind of urine therapy like clinics around the world. So if they've got clinics around the world and they're saying, "Hey, this works. This really works. Pay attention. It's working. You don't need to go to the doctor. You can do things yourself. Pay attention."
Well, yeah.
Look into it. Learn. Look and learn. Ask questions. Look and learn.
I was going to say, did you see my video on the sex headache that I'd had? And I explained I'd been to the doctors, and then I ended up in A&E, and it was one of those ones where I ended up having to stay overnight, and in the end they gave me the old spinal tap, which I wouldn't recommend the experience for anybody. And it was nothing there, but I did actually get to see my spinal fluid, and it was the most amazing glycerine clear liquid I'd ever seen. And then it tied in with what Xantos was saying about the Kundalini and your raising of the sacred spinal fluid in Christa,
manna from heaven.
So I'd gone through all of this, and I'm just thinking, why on earth did I have a sex headache? And why did the doctors not know anything about it? And even now, when you tell them, but what I wanted to say to people was, when they did that spinal tap, a couple of days later, I had blood in my sperm. And I told this to a doctor, and they looked at me horrified they were. And they were like, "Oh, you need to go and get that looked at." Never happened again. It's never happened before. Okay. So I'd have gone and wasted more time through that medical system because they don't know what they're doing. They don't have all the answers, yeah?
No, they
what
don't.
I'm saying to you is, what I am trying to tell you is that spinal fluid is connected to your sperm, 100%. 100%. I know it 100% because it's happened to me.
Right.
And you can try and find that on YouTube. You can try and find that on Google. There's no one else will tell you that, but it's happened to me, and I can go and get my medical file. And obviously, I didn't take photographs of it. Probably should have done.
Sorry, Jones. Right over here, right? I can actually go into my I have a, yeah, it's not a national insurance number, but something similar, and I can go into that, and I can go online and see exactly from the moment I was first registered, every single kind of treatment that I might have even had, or every bone I've broken, or whatever. I can see my whole medical history. It's yeah, you can just pull it up, because I'm a citizen.
Yeah, we're all citizens,
but
aren't we?
don't you have something like that there in Northern Ireland?
Probably not. If you come over here, it's like the Wild West. It really is. We haven't even got a government. We haven't had a government for over a year, and they're still paying the politicians. Yeah, but well, if people want to see proof of it, I can quite happily go to the doctors and get it. It's not a problem. But yeah, no, the whole way the body and the human body works. I've not just been waking up at 3 o'clock and gone through I had the weird tingling sensations running through my legs, my arms. Weird. I can't describe it. It's just I've got a high pitch is coming in my left ear, and I've had that since I would say woken up. I say you have an awakening, but since I've switched on to everything, yeah, and that weird noise will not go away. It's like a high pitched noise. It's not enough to frustrate me, and I can still go to sleep. It's
Hey, sorry, I'm having a piss, right? But you're saying something about high pitch, and it's in your left ear, but it's very, it's not too.
Not enough to annoy me. Not enough to annoy me, yeah, but it's there. Yeah, and it's probably worse when if it's deadly quiet. That's why I won't.
I've noticed that too. I mean, a while back, actually, but I'm paying more attention to it, especially like the last few days. I've been paying a lot more attention to it, like thinking, what's going on?
I think it's you tuning into that.
And I can actually hear kind of a pulsing tune. I want to recreate it on I've got one of those melodica. I could make the sound on my melodica to see, like, is it like this or what,
Well, you're probably looking at the Earth Schumann resonance. So I think is it Schumann resonance but I actually think it's the Venus key, the keynote. And I know I've said before that every religion on Earth worships Venus, but I believe the center of it all is something creating all life. And if you zoom into Venus, there's other people done it on other channels. It shimmers like and it almost looks like the Star Mother kit that Dan Winter's got, creating different platonics, Icosa, dodeca, and it's definitely something that's creating all life. And why would you not worship the one thing creating all life? And why would that not give off?
Don't know that Venus has phases like the moon.
Yeah, well, that's what they say, but my camera's not good enough to pick that up. But yeah, no, I have been told that it does the same thing. Well, that would indicate that it's. Did you ever watch my toilet roll Holy Bible videos? Where I was trying to explain that the holy. No,
I've obviously joined you. I just thought you did planes. I've got quite a lot of your plane ones. I didn't go to your channel.
No, well, basically the holy. I mean, I classed it as the whole, like the mint, the holy toroidal Bible, the duality. I mean, you can go on about all that. That's why I do my mirrored, my name. That's the Jones mirrored, because we're at a meeting point between two energies. That's the way I see it. That's how my model's always been. And this reflectiveness, your left side, your right side. And obviously I've saying that the moon it's a convergence point of energy, and that's why the sun as well, it's not quite what you think it is. It's very clever. Man in the Mirror, Michael Jackson, all these people in the music industry understand what's going on. They're not allowed to say, but they can cleverly hint at it. Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. All these sort of people are telling you these things at all times. Just whether you want to hear it or not. You might just say, it's just nonsense, but it's not. And I do believe Rick Clay's dad was in the music industry. I do hope he's still around, because I did like his stuff. But there you go. I'm waffling again.
If you actually listen to some of the stuff that John Lennon was saying, he's only saying what we're saying today, really. He doesn't call it flat Earth, but, he's just saying these mindless people are like...
Imagine there's no heaven, imagine there's no hell. Well, there isn't. There's
and that song.
No, of course the Beatles, I've mentioned it as well with the Egyptians, and it was all sun worship going back then, but they've made out something that should be awesome, and they've made it out to be satanic and weird. And oh, he was given the 666 symbol. It's just geometry. That's all the 666 is. And if you actually make that symbol with your what finger is it in your thumb? You know, when you do the 666, the OK symbol, yeah. Look at what's being made there. It's not a circle, it's a cube. Look at your eye sockets. If you look at a skull, it's a cube. I don't think people have really, that's what they say. They say it's inward reflection, yeah? Look into your body. Look at this. I've got a here of a real picture of a human eye with its.
I never
like,
thought about my skull being a cube.
This one, sorry?
I hadn't really thought about my skull being a.
Well, it's the sockets, and it actually looks like some sort of pyramidical shape as it goes backwards. I know they'll just tell you your eyes round and that, but yeah, there's so much more going on. And one of the great film I watched lately was the one, the remake actually of an absolute classic. What was they? Blade Runner, and they hint at it in that film. There's a very clever scene as well where they've got the rippling water, which is showing you this frequency harmonic going on, and it's reflecting on the walls and stuff. You could get the same effect in a bath when you just ripple the water if you've got some lights above you and that. But in that film, they zoom in at a microscopic level, and there's a mark from the manufacturer, and I think that's what we're actually experiencing at the moment with all of this stuff. Well, all the stuff I've been looking at is hinting at it. Yeah, it's hinting that you built fleshy robotics. You've got a robotic body, but it's amazing. And they keep going on about these, you know, they're trying to build these robots and all this stuff and all that and the other. And we've got the perfect robotic body here. Why do we need to build robots? Yeah, I totally understand building prosthetics for people who have lost limbs and stuff. But yeah, so that's what they're hinting at, and they're breaking it to us gently in all of the films. And Hollywood, you know, it's run by these people that know this knowledge, and I'll keep saying it, they're retelling the stories in the Bible in a modern way. And that's why some of the, you know, they are really into it. Oh, no, to say
what,
this.
Is it that we've turned into like a group of rabbits now? There's too many rabbits? Or just an experiment? Well, you know, like, you know what they like to do? They like to exterminate them. Is it that the human race has just got, like, now it's just exploded, or are they lying about that as well?
I don't know about the rabbits, but I do know this world is ginormous, and that's what my Flat Earth Moon map will show you. And I actually, the biggest lie going on at the minute is this giant ice wall surrounding the Earth. It's exactly what they want you to believe, so that they can tell you there's not many resources. They're running out of fish. They're running out of everything when it's huge. It's massive. And I'm actually believing the people that are maybe letting this stuff go, maybe the people that actually run YouTube and have given us the technology are not from this part of the moon map or the Earth. Maybe they live on the other parts of it, which I've been trying to explain. Maybe I've said the white parts of the oceans, yeah, and the darker parts. You can get a picture of the moon and Google it. It's as easy as that. But the darker parts are other land masses, and maybe they're gently helping us because we're not as developed as that part of the Earth realm that we live on, yeah. And they've been helping us for a long, long time, just waiting for us to wake up. You'd never know. But I do like the Underverse world. I do like that. I should have written a book about it, I think. They made an interesting story, I would have thought. Why did they not do that recently with that Hollywood film where the girl was above him and he fell in love with the girl that was above? I don't know. And there's also, before I forget, actually, there's actually YouTube videos, and you can see divers going down, and they're saying that they've hit like a force field where they can't go any deeper.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would explain this torus world as well. You know, the underneath gravity is hitting that gravity. Well, I say gravity, this magnetism, but if you could break through that, you'd be in another world, the other side. And obviously, it'd be different light. Maybe the light would run out in the sun and it wouldn't burn you. It always baffled me. Why do we get sunburn if the world's built? Doesn't make any sense, does it?
Yeah, but that's another thing, isn't it? They've told you that the sun is bad for you, and it's not. Not that you need to be in it all day and get burned, but we need the rays from the sun. It's like food for our bodies.
100%. I'm still doing that kitchen if anyone's interested. I've got to get on with the tile in the wall, but today and yesterday, sun's been out, so I've been out, cut the grass and soaking in the rays. Just sat there for a couple of hours, and yeah, awesome. I've got to get back on it. Like I've got to tell the wolf I can get the units in, but yeah, you feel great. That's why the doctors say go on holiday, get the sun's rays, soak it in, sun worship. Yeah, lie on the beach, rejuvenate.
They've done it another way as well, right? They've done it with putting us in plastic shoes and not telling us how important the negative ions in the ground are. And that's this other thing about what we live in. It came to me a little while ago. I made a video and put it on Sun and Moon. Those fractals, you know, you can see them in the land. You know, when they burn, use electricity, and they make those fractals. I forget what they call them now, Lindenbergs. The trees are the same thing.
Remind me of the bit in what is it? Is it?
And people don't understand.
Die Hard, where he gets I advised him to take his shoes off and just walk about, because he's got, when you're in an aircraft, you're obviously right up where all the charges in the air, grounding.
Yeah, he takes his shoes off, doesn't he, and scrunches his toes in the carpet.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot. It's covered. I think Dan Winter again is another guy will tell you that now with these an earth rod in the ground and something attached to their body, and they've never had a better night's sleep. It's almost like they're getting rid of that excess charge that they've had that's stopping them from getting a good night's sleep. So yeah, there's a lot. There's so much in with the cancer. My mum's gone through cancer, you know, chemo. I've seen her lose her hair and all that, and thankfully she's all right. Well, I say she's all right. She's come out the other side of it. I mean, I guess that kills quite a lot of your good stuff, but you know, we could treat this with harmonics, and you know, there's all these different things that the mainstream, we've been giving billions to these cancer research people, yeah, and all I can see, it's been siphoned off by the salaries of these doctors and the shareholders and the advertisers, and yet there's more and more people every year found with cancer. Well, it should be going the opposite way, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, it should be, because we've thrown all this money at it.
From when? The 70s, the 60s? When was it we started to do all this treatment with cancer? I mean, I've seen cancer research, Marie Curie and all that shit since I was a kid, man.
Well,
you're right.
You know, one of the
Do you know what? You're right. We shouldn't have it now. Just let me open my glass. We shouldn't have it now. The problem is, we still do. Another thing that I was thinking about, I know what you said before. Why did I put that there? Just my little note. You're on about all these homeless people that are going to get moved because of the royal wedding, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much does it cost for a nuclear, not even nuclear, but for weapons, you know, for ammunition and for bombs and for this and for that, military, right? Listen, all the money that they're spending on those things, hey, just chill out. We won't do, you know.
Why don't we
cut back a little bit this year, and we'll build houses for those homeless people, because you know what? We can flip and do it, man. They can do it. Nobody needs to be homeless. Nobody at all needs to be homeless.
None. I mean, basically, me and the missus, we'll sit and discuss the homeless issue, and she'll deprive. There's a lot of deprivation over here as well, and the only way you will stop the knife crime in London and the youth, the disingenuous youth, they've got no hope. That we've literally taken every little ounce of hope away from them, and you need to give them jobs. You need to give them a stake in society. You need to let them buy houses like they did back in the day. Until you do that, they're going to get more and more angry. And over here, there's been riots in the past, and what they tend to do is they riot on their estates, and it's all controlled by the main. I won't go into the details, but the different fractions over here. Rather than taking their argument down to the rich areas of Belfast, for example, where all the politicians live, they burn out cars on their own estates because it's a good PR stunt. It gets in the media, it gets attention. But what we're not doing as a population is making people that are multi-billionaires, make them I don't know how to say it, make it the most repulsive thing on earth. Make an MD earning over 100 grand and paying his staff, like you've said, you know, not even minimum wage. Bringing in immigrants, and make it immoral. Make it
exactly.
Sick.
Well,
make
said,
it sick.
Brother.
It's immoral.
Sick.
Sick.
It's sick. It's actually sick that those people can bypass somebody, right? Walk past a person who's sat on the street or whatever with hardly anything, you know, and they'll probably kick them, you know.
Oh, this. I mean, I don't want to go off on one because I don't want to tarnish. I mean, don't get me wrong.
No,
There are good people out there with money that are trying to do stuff, but
for
the
sure.
problem is London, and it's not a place I enjoy going. You get your black bogies because from the you go on about electrical, the underground. It's obviously clearly not electricity that's causing black bogies. It's the air engines being used on that creating the clag, the black anyway. But that's another story. But you've got all these multi-billionaires from around the world just driving around in Ferraris and then just leaving them when they get parking tickets because they've got to them it's I don't know, it's like £10 to them. They just think, oh well, just leave that. We're living in a world that's just it's out of control, and no nothing. It's, and like you say, at the top of the chain, you have to look to the top of these chains. You're supposed to look to your leaders. You're supposed to look, and the royal family you're supposed to fight for Queen and country. The Queen, by the way, is supposed to represent Mother Earth. That's why she's called Mom. Yeah. And that's why outside the Buckingham Palace, you've got the Diana statue, the golden statue. Yeah. All of this is Mother Earth worship. You've got the same within America. The Statue of Liberty with the 7 rays on her head represents the earth that births all life. Everything comes from the earth, goes back to the earth. And I just for the life of me, why are we giving all our power away to some sick families that don't care less about us? And then you only need to look at Prince Will I Am and, the Alpha, the Omega, the Infinity Ring. The guy is pictured with the pi symbol sitting in a helicopter. Yeah, he's been in the press. He had the Helios copter using the gas turbine engine, God's created energy. And he's sat there just looking at you going, you dumb animals. You don't even realize, with disdain. And then you've the horrible Daily Mail that, yeah, we know all about them, don't we? That are just government run control. And it all goes back to a certain cabal of families that own everything, yeah? And yet nobody wants to do a damn thing. They want to attack us guys that are trying to wake people up and do stuff. And at the same time, they're going to throw this European nonsense into the thing. Why the hell has it taken so long? It should have been the next day. Okay, pull out of Europe. If you want to deal with us, do you? Yes or no? Okay, it's fine. We'll go somewhere else. Have you not seen? My dad's actually it's been ongoing for a long, long time. This American United Kingdom connection, where we've had the comedy film. You get the English, the Americans. The Walking Dead's a good one as well. The main actor there, and basically they've been trying to integrate these two countries for a long, long time. I don't even know why we aren't dealing with them direct. I don't know why the Trump doesn't just say to China, do one. I bought a sofa from DFS the other day, and it was supposed to have been made in Derby. Yeah, my relatives are from that part of the world. Yeah, and it ended up it was from China, and well, it's another story. It's not the quality item that we sat on in the store. Put it that way. Yeah, it's just I don't know at what point we're gonna. What do you want to do? They're just going to take the houses off us, make our children work until for £1 an hour, and if we're not slaves at the minute, I don't know what we are. Do you?
Well, we are slaves at the minute. We've been slaves at the minute for the last, I don't know, fucking 100 years. It's getting worse. It's actually good that you've been saying that, what you're saying there, right? Because
why else do you think I'm here fighting? If you don't, knowledge is power, and knowledge of the power is what it's all about.
We understand. We're awake, we understand that we're getting screwed over left, right, and centre, day in, day out, minute in, minute out,
But this should reach out to every. I want people working in the airports. I want people in the military. I want people that can get right up close to this technology. People working in the Formula One industry can look at this and just look at it and go, oh, where the hell is this fuel tank they're on about?
Yeah, and scratch your head and say, hang on a second, this ain't right. This just does not fit.
No,
this is not.
That doesn't make sense. Why do those pylons go to that substation and those cables just drop down? There's actually a pylon on the way if you can travel at the main route into Belfast, and one of the pylons, all the cables just attach to the pylon, and then the pylon just goes into the ground, and you're like, Well, if they're live cables, they're attached to the actual structure.
Yeah,
the structure would be live. Yeah, they'll be live. So what is this thing doing? And it's you just, people don't observe. They just walk about
I
like
was wondering
zombies.
when they were harvesting free energy. I thought maybe the pylons were harvesting the free energy.
Well, I've had this with the air in Dover's done some. They did a great one on what he believed was 9/11 was a massive. And same with all of the churches. They have the spires to collect the electrical energy out of the sky. And why else would you put something that conducts electricity onto a building other than to, if it's made of stone, why would you put a copper rod up it? It doesn't make any sense, does it?
Well, yeah. Why did they make all these roofs of copper? I mean,
Yeah,
copper roofs everywhere, man. Everywhere.
Exactly. But I actually think this is what these over here. I don't know if it's like that in the UK at the moment, but with 5G masts going up like you've never seen, yeah. And I'm talking, you walk down one street, go around the corner, there's another 5G mast going up. You go down the next road, there's another one, and you're like, what are all these masts doing? I think they're just miniature Tesla towers harnessing the electricity out of the air. That's why they're cutting down all the trees, and they want in certain councils I've seen in the UK, they want to cut that tree down because the trees obviously harness the electricity. That's how they pump the. He mentioned that in one of his videos. That's how they pump the water out the ground, and they don't obviously grow towards where the sun rises and sets, because I can prove that here that the trees branch out in all directions. But basically, they haven't lied about one thing. They've lied about bloody everything, absolutely everything. And yeah, it's. I actually believe these mobile phones are just using probably the old telephone, the TV signals. That we went on.
I was really shocked.
I think.
I was really shocked
because it's just an image. Ultimately, it's just an image. You might be a better image, but it's still an image, isn't it? It's just like a TV. So, as I say, these these things are going up everywhere, and these they're just, it's different ways to. It's like the windmills. The windmills have gone up everywhere as well. Where the hell are the cables going? They just go. They don't go anywhere. They put a windmill up on a hill in the middle of nowhere. Got a wind farm there. We built a wind farm. Well, where are your cables, mate? You didn't see you digging up the road. Didn't see you running them all into the ground. But they've gone up everywhere, all over the place. And on a still day, they don't turn.
I'm on a mission tomorrow. We got loads of windmills around here, man. Loads.
Well, I've been filming. We've got ones near us.
I'm on a mission tomorrow, yeah. Fucking, I've never thought about it, you know?
Literally no wind, and you look over and these things are turning, and they're turning so slow. You're like, where's the wind to turn them that slow? Because these things are massive, by the way. They're not plain. They weigh a ton. They have to get massive cranes to lift them in, put them up. On a day with no wind, they turn really slowly, and you're like, well, what's turning them? It's not the wind. It's an illusion. These guys have got electricity, yeah?
Jonesy, right? Go 12 meters up in the air, you'll feel wind. Yeah. Even if it's still down there, go 12 meters up in the air, you'll feel the wind, right? And they're much higher than that, aren't they? I don't know how high they are, but here in Denmark, we've got some of the biggest in the world. I know that because I've flipping seen them, and I worked in a factory where they produced them. You can drive a truck in the back end of them. They're that big.
Did they have a test facility?
One blade.
As far as I know, and I've checked this out, but they don't have a test facility like they do for the jet engines.
A test facility?
Where they actually test them for the wind to prove that they work. They just build them and then throw them out.
The town I live in here, it's called Randers. You have one. They built it here. It's Vestas, if you've heard of Vestas. So they've got one here just in the town, and it's been spinning since the day it was born, more or less. Yeah. Some days it is short, it stops or whatever.
Yeah.
But they have like a yaw on them, don't they? They have some. You can get it out of gear. Put it that way.
Geared. It's geared.
Yeah, so they're not moving, or you can get the blades that the blades will turn. You know, when the wind's way too strong.
It's not Wendy Miller, is it? It's not Wendy Miller and his little windmill or whatever it was we used to watch.
No. These are big. These are big, and you could. One of them actually flew off not many years ago. One of the blades, and some of these blades, honestly, they're like, they're long. They're really long. One of these blades flew off. This propeller into a field. I don't think anything happened, but I mean, imagine if it was like into a town or onto a motorway, or you know.
Well, there's one of these ones where there's a guy in India, and he's showing you that there's two of the blades out of one of these three ones. It was literally they're falling off, yeah, and it was still turning because the wind doesn't turn them. They're there for show. Maybe they've got gas turbine engines inside that actually work, and they need that energy to power the blades. But got to bear in mind, these people don't want us finding out about free energy.
No, they don't.
So they have a limit.
I have a friend. He's an engineer, and he works for a company over in America doing turbines, wind turbines, here from Denmark, and he's half English, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he's into all this, the technical part of it. How can they make these? How can they make them more? How can they build them faster, should I say, when they're servicing them, or how can they get them to run when they're servicing them? When they're building them, when they need to set them up, how can they do it quicker so that it's not going to take 3 days to build one? It'll take 3 hours to build one, So he was part of a team that they've been inventing machinery that can crane this thing up and build it whilst it's up in the air, kind of thing, up on the tower. It opens itself up. Imagine getting an orange. You peel the orange, take all the skin off, and the orange opens up and it makes like a fan or something, right? That kind of shit. It's not exactly that, but I'm just using an analogy there.
No, well, there was a guy actually, was a diver at the ones down in near London, and was saying that they put them up, but there was no cables going to land. He says they were just they built them out there, and says don't know where they. Says I don't know where the.
What about the ones they got off the sea here, off the UK?
That's the ones I was on about. Yeah,
aeroplane. They're about 2 or 3 miles into the sea.
Well, that's what he said.
They're not on the coast. They're in the sea.
Yeah, basically, as I say, you got to bear in mind that every day these guys are making billions of pounds. So a few little toys, a few little windmills, throw them up, tell them it's wind power. We've had the solar power. I did the solar heating course down at Worcester, and that was just a joke. We were like, these things are ridiculous. They don't there's not enough heat coming off them. You put the glycol mix in them. This is for the twin coil cylinders. Then you look at the electric ones that are. There's a few people had them over here. They sold them out. But you ask them, how does it work? Oh, well, they give me some money back because it goes back to the grid. How does it go back to the grid? How? And how do they measure it? I don't know. Nobody knows. No one has any answers when you actually start delving. Was one guy actually said. One guy said that electricity goes into everybody's house and goes back out again. You're just on a ring circuit. So you think you're using electricity, but you're not using anything. You're just connected into one giant ring circuit around your whole estate.
Well, so they don't actually know.
So that's why they've gone over to these stupid new. We're getting them in the UK. These wireless meter things. It's just control.
Smart meters.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the one. They're fitting them everywhere, but it's literally. I didn't think it would be. I mean, I started looking at all this stuff, and I never thought I'd end up with just electricity and free energy. That's what religion's about. It blows your mind. You end up there, and you're like, "Is that it? Is that what it's about then?" Yep. And don't get me wrong, it just doesn't.
What's this bit with electricity then? What's this? So.
Well, you look at. I mean, I've done a video on the fella. What's his name now? I'm going to get his name wrong here. You'll probably have to help me. He's the one with the 64 tetrahedral grid. Oh God, you have that many different people going on in my head. What is he called?
I don't know.
No, it'll probably come to me as soon as I get off. But he talks about the Ark of the Covenant in the Bible, and the Ark. It's the Ark reactor of electricity. It's always been about power, and that's what it's about. I have the power. I did that little one on about He-Man, didn't I? And the little advert and stuff. Where they've been hinting it. That and it's one of those electricity. You just can't see it. You can't see it. It runs around your pipes, your electric cables. You can't see it. But bloody,
Jones, have you seen the golden? What's it called? The golden. Yeah, it's also this about all the words, the wording, how things are related. I forgot the name of the end of the last of that. But anyway, like you said, it's all about current, power. current, power, sea,
Well, it's-
current, currency,
Yeah.
current.
Well, that was. Do you know? I'll take you back. Yeah, I totally agree with you. There's a guy. You probably heard of him. He's one of the old Jordan Maxwell, where he talks about the banks and how the banks of the river and exactly what you just said about the currency and he's telling you there. He's telling you and about checking the foundations under the house, and he's trying to tell you look at what they're saying in the Bible. And I do. That's what I was trying to say about that film Superman, where Lois Lane she has to find him. I don't know if you know the one I mean, where she's going around questioning the people on the boat, where he saved the people at the oil rig, and then she's following this trail of breadcrumbs, but it's always about she's following the energy trail, because Superman represents God's energy, the light. That's why he's the illumination. He's the house of El. Yeah. And that's as I say, I want to do a video on it because it's a brilliant film. But yeah, all this religion's about this. It's the same thing that's powering my heart and your heart and everybody else's. And they'll tell you that, it's to do with the food. It's to do with the food that's powering. You're like, okay, well, take that heart out your chest, stick it on in for a heart operation where they do a transplant, and all they do is put blood in it, yeah, because the blood has the it's the iron in your blood, Iron Man, yeah, and then that thing still keeps beating, yeah. I think Indiana Jones, it was one of those films, wasn't there, where he ripped the heart out in one of those ceremonies, yeah.
And it looks in awe as it's still ticking away, like.
That's it, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's always been that, it's that simple. And I mean, I say Marco Rodin found this this mathematics. I don't think he found the mathematics. I have a lot of respect for his work, but he's just another guy that's been given the task of, right, it's your turn to tell him about the numbers that Hitler knew about, and that's why he came up with the VW logo, because he understood the sacred mathematics, and it all relates to, your heart. And that's why, as well, in the Catholic churches, they always have Jesus with that heart, don't they, with the sun coming out of it.
Yeah, the glowing heart.
Yeah, because it's always, yeah. I think it's the first thing that beats it to life, isn't it? Your heart. Before your brain starts going, your heart, your lion heart. Obviously,
Isn't it? Don't they say that the first thing that gets developed when we are created is the cerebral, what do you call that? Cerebral.
Oh, you're getting into Xanos knows all his cerebrum, yeah.
Yeah, and then from there, but it's. I might be wrong there.
I mean, I say you hear and read what you interpret, but all I know is that, as I say, the heart and the lion represents the sun. That's why you have the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That's why you have the lions and Ayana and her lions, and that's why Ayana, India, the country, China. The name just went everywhere, didn't it? Yeah, it's just energy. Always been about the energy. And that's what I say, if people can grasp it, that it's not, the sun's you'll never reach the end of the rainbow, because you'll never see, it's not physical. It's all around you. You can witness it. I forget, 42 and a bit degrees, when the sun's at the right angle, you get the rainbow, the Ra rays, yeah? 7 rays that we can visibly see. But it's energy, it's a field of energy surrounding you. And as I say, I started on my book, and I should probably rewrite it 100 times now with the stuff I've been gaining, the knowledge and stuff. But again, all of the stuff I've been saying to you lot, it's there for anyone to find out. Those names I've mentioned, and the moon
for sure. But
sorry,
Jones. One good thing is, like, when me particularly anyway, when I hear people talking, it's almost like another piece of the puzzle, or 2 pieces, or 5 pieces of the puzzle drop into place, because
sometimes
now I'm talking about the last few years or whatever. It's like more and more and more things are coming together. All right, they might become, episodes or periods where nothing happens, and I stagnate. I can't be asked looking at things. Can't be asked researching.
We all go through those phases. Yeah, I've been there.
And then suddenly it'll be like, wow, yeah, why didn't I think of that? Or I'll see something, on a poster or on a bus or whatever, and think, yeah, man, why don't I look at that? And then you're suddenly on a new direction. You're down another rabbit hole, but it's still
Another Taurus
connected
roll.
to the same Warren, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as I say, I mean, if anyone's, anyone does listen to this, I don't know how many views you'll get on it, but I just want it on record that the Freemasons, study them by all means. They're not the enemy. I'll put that on record. I thought they were to start with. Like, everyone bashes them. They do have a lot of these sacred symbols and the three pillars, the Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian columns with the spirals. I think relates to the magnetic energy of the Creator, and they have the three lights, the three candles inside the lodges. Only from what I've seen, as I say, I'm not a Mason, never been one. I wouldn't ever wear the stupid outfits they have to wear, and I'm not one for joining clubs and bits and bobs anyway. But you go from that, right, and then you look into the founding fathers of America. They're all Freemasons. You look at the street layouts, sacred geometry, as I've mentioned his website, SGD. I think if you tap that in YouTube, he will explain them.
I've seen
the whole world.
I've seen him
the whole world is laid out with this plan, and they've just looked at the luminaries above and went, hang on a minute, that one rises there, let's mark this one out here, and that's it. It's call it the great work, call it what you like, but they will equally argue that nothing's hidden. If you want to find it out, there's it's the Blavatsky, not Blavatsky, I'm trying to think of is it Blavatsky? Blavatsky, that's it. And Isis, is it Isis Unveiled? Yeah,
I'm not sure.
There's two big books, Isis Unveiled 1 and 2, and it's just about Earth. And that's the other thing as well. They've suddenly turned a word like ISIS into a terrorist act, haven't they? With all these beheadings and stuff, wearing the orange suits, and the orange in the Pythagorean numerology is 33. Yeah. Orange order. Orange adds to 33. Order adds to 33. If you put a stick in the ground and wait 33 years, its shadow will, if you mark precisely the shadow, takes 33 years for it to come back around. That's in that book of coincidences about astronomy. If you look at all of the Venus every 8 years, she makes that eye, and that's just a toroidal pattern. If you look at Mercury and all the other so-called planets, which I believe are corners of the hypercube, they're all making toroidal patterns. It's just toroidal patterns showing you it's a torus field you live inside. I say I can tell people this, but you need to go and prove me wrong. Go out there and say, and the same with the anal lemma, same with this infinity myobus interloop. It's just a view for us. That's all it is, It takes a long while to get that far, I suppose, but I've got that far, and I'm not part of any secret society, so I'm sharing it with everybody, and hopefully giving everyone a leg up. You know what I mean? I could be dead tomorrow. I could have a heart attack, and at least I tried. You know what I mean?
Knowledge is power. We all like to know.
Well, that's why I'm sharing, and as I say, that's what my site's about, and that's what I've set out to do. I set out to try and... Yeah?
The people.
Okay, you were saying there, do you want to...
The people are talking, people coming together, and, like listening to you, you almost sound like a scientist, to be honest.
I'm not, I'm literally, I'm just a plumber.
No, but I mean it.
No, you're not. You're not just a plumber.
I've done a lot of reading, I suppose. Do you know about
stuff that you've got
3 years ago? I hadn't read a book in about 10 years. And now I speed read. I can look at stuff really fast now because I just want to learn. Once you find something that interests you,
you're not watching telly either. You're not watching telly. That helps.
I see. Don't discount watching the stuff as long as you start to look. When you're watching EastEnders, don't look at the faces. Look around in the outer bit, which is your field of view. They put this PP signs up on Coronation Street and stuff, product placement. But they're doing it in EastEnders, and they shouldn't be doing it in EastEnders. They're doing it on all sorts of programs. What was it? If you ever watch the news and they're wearing the North Face jackets and they show that logo for a good length of time on one of the, especially in the wintertime when they're at some flood or whatever else, that's blatant advertising for North Face. Yeah. That's advertising a product on the BBC, which is illegal. And I've written to them and I've done everything I can, but they just ignored me, completely ignored me as I was an idiot. And yeah, I know it's because that's what my dad did. He was in marketing, So I was privy to this kind of knowledge. I was in the cinema watching E.T. or whatever it was, and my dad was going, look, Pepsi, look at the Pepsi. That's what I was bought. I was literally brought up like that, going, look, because because that's what he did. He used to have to get an advert on TV. He put an advert on one TV, and it ran for, I think it was about 3 or 4 minutes. It took him weeks to film it, weeks and weeks of doing it. It's not right. Doing it again. That's not right. Do it again. People don't realize how much effort goes into doing these things. Everything's thought out. So when you watch a movie, oh my God, it's teams and armies of people and planning, and it's trying to tell you a story. And I'll try and break it down. That's what I do. But yeah, I'm definitely no scientist. So,
what I'm saying is,
weird.
scientists.
Hang on a second.
Maybe
I need to correct you there, Jonesy. You are a scientist.
Maybe I should put a bra on my head like weird science.
No, but we are scientists, because we're doing experiments, and we are scientists. Everyone has a right to call themselves a scientist.
I do agree.
Those experiments and things,
I appreciate what you're saying. I do take the mickey, but yeah, you're 100% correct, and that's what it is. It's about investigation.
Research, isn't it? It's people with P900 or whatever it is. NASA aren't doing anything on it.
I don't know if you've seen any of my footage I put up online, but it's all real. It's just genuine stuff. I throw it up online. My books, all genuine pictures, never been if I alter them, all I've done is alter the color settings or the shading, the brightness settings. I do this because you look to, like, for example, our observatory over here, we pay them nearly £1 million a year in salaries, and when there's been full moons and stuff going on, not a single bit of footage, nothing has ever come from that place, other than lies. Nothing. We're paying them all this money. That money could go to the homeless people over here, but no, we're paying them to do nothing. I've been there, wandered around the grounds, took photographs of the hypercube with the sun. I've got some great pictures. I'd like to share these. Hopefully one day once I work out how these computers work, I'd like to get a website up and put all the pictures up free, so people can just have them and then go, yeah, this guy's showing me this. Because not everyone has access to it, and not everybody can get a clear day, especially where we live. It's always cloudy, isn't it, and raining.
Yeah, great.
So, but every spare second I will grab my camera, and even if it's just a minute or a quick photograph. I've been doing this for a long time. I've got hard drives full of it, and quite a bit up online, which, as I say, never got much traction really, and that's when I knew they were definitely throttling down that side of my work. But, what can you do?
To rename it. Time to rename it, Mr. Jones.
Can I just say that we've been hours now?
You're kidding me?
3 hours is
I haven't even looked.
Nearly 3 hours.
My God, 12 o'clock. I suppose we'll have to wind it up.
What the flat? Have you kept me on here for 3 hours?
I think you quite enjoyed it, didn't you?
I suppose you. As me, I do these quick videos because I don't want to bore people. There's me waffling on for 3 hours, eh?
No, listen.
I could keep going all night, but yeah.
Can I speak for myself now?
By all means.
Thoroughly enjoyed listening to you, man. I mean, thoroughly. It's like a new insight into old aspects, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
I've got to relook at things. Totally relook at things, because it's going to help me get forward. I know that.
Well,
hey, Astral,
Yes.
tell Jones how many times I mentioned him.
How many times you mentioned him? Oh, I don't know, like 25 times or something.
Well, I appreciate that, because as I say, that's why I'm on here, because ultimately what they did to you in the mail and the way that people have attacked.
It wasn't the mail, it was the Daily Star.
Daily Star, put them all in the same. They're all in the same category as far as I'm concerned. The Daily Star even more, with the title. But the way that they treat us, it literally is disgusting. But what I hopefully given everybody tonight is ammunition. I mean, this is real stuff. They aren't making this up. This is real ammunition for people out there.
Look, I'm not saying that picture of me is perfect, but why wouldn't they want one of me looking more like that rather than like the worst pictures of me? But it was about the message, and they didn't change what I said.
Well, as I say, they're going to mock us. They will mock. My stuff's
No
been.
one's going to recognise me, are they? It's not
No.
going to say, "Oh, there's that woman from the flat." Who's going to recognise me? It's like
But no,
they just pick the worst pictures. Oh my goodness, it's so embarrassing.
well, we have. I mean, we've got the guy in America. The what's his called? Quite a cool looking dude. He's been on the aircraft with the spirit level. I forget his name.
Daryl Marble. He was on the
No, that's
Yeah.
no. So you're getting some. We're getting some, and apparently we've got Freddie Flintoff. Yay! But
Yeah.
you know, it's going to take a while, innit? Yeah. Be honest with you, anything I've said tonight, go and look into it further, and hopefully I'll be putting everybody in the right path. I mean, as I say, I've been at not just the flat Earth. I've been at many subjects for a long time. Do you know that Muchia guy in Africa that David Icke went to see?
What's he called?
Something Gia
What?
Muchia.
I don't know about that.
He went off on one of his travels. He went to see a tribe in Africa, something Muchia. I forget the name of it. But basically, their tribe worship the star Venus, and its cycles. So just the clues are everywhere if you're prepared to do the legwork.
Mm. When you look at also flags of the world, you see this
vexillology,
crescent moon with Venus right next to it, don't you?
Venus is on all of the flags. They even give you in school, don't they? When you've done well, they give you a little pentagram. Here you go, you've done well.
Yeah.
There's your pentagram. But yeah, vexillology, it's all based on flags. Astronomy, and that one there. If you could actually, I've been trying to get it, but I don't think it must be a rare event. But I'm guessing Venus is in the moon. I have actually got pictures in my book of one of the moon where if I've changed the settings on it, and you can see stars in the moon. It was a crescent moon, and you can see stars in it, and basically because it's a projection. It's not a solid object. So I don't know how much more evidence people need. That's why you can see the blue in the sky. It should be black if it's a solid object, no matter however they try and spin it. But it's looking up through the toroidal hole. Think of looking up through a rabbit hole. That's just a little way I try and think of it, yeah? Mm. Alice in Wonderland, yeah? Mm. Well, we are in Wonderland, aren't we? We're trying to wonder what's going on.
That's for sure.
But,
James, will you come back and tell us what happened to your channel? And
yeah, no, I'm happy enough. As I say, Friday's a good night because I've got this back bedroom. It's a bit of a mess at the minute because I've got tiles and bits of wood and all crap in it. But Friday's good because, as I say, it's the weekend and I'm not keeping it. People are up late because it's the weekend, if you know what I mean. So because you hear me whispering on some of my videos, yeah. Because we've got.
Well, we're going to end this
Friday
now.
Friday or Saturdays is a good night, yeah. So this time next week or whatever, It's up to you.
We're going to end this hangout now, but we can say goodbye, when we've ended the hangout, yeah? So we can just talk about that in a minute. But for this hangout, thanks very much for coming on. And yeah, brilliant. I didn't actually know you were quite into this much stuff. I was watching all your playing stuff, but thank you so much, Jones.
That's
and
all right, you're
Patricia
welcome.
And Astral and Levkungfu who dropped off. But yeah.
Yeah, no, just want to say big thanks to all my followers and anyone that's watched any of my work, and hopefully I'll be allowed to go up on the other channel, but we'll see. Because that's it really.
Thank you, Jones. So goodbye from us.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks, Karen.
Bye.
Thanks, James.
No worries.
Jones.
Thank you.
I'm doing what you do, Karen.
You.
Wrong name. Sorry.